What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 8 rupees Chapter 105 Buggy's Horror Adventure. The goal of the world's #1 swordsman. Clear sky. Saboti Archipelago. Buggy and the crew who were moved, coaxed, by him boarded a big ship. Out of the bay. Buggy stood at the bow with his hands on his hips. He looks out to sea in his own custom hunter outfit. Ha ha ha. Little ones, set sail. Oh, the people below also cheered and waved their swords. If you hang out with Buggy, you should be able to eat delicious food and drink spicy food, right? Hula. The sails are raised. Buggy is proud, ha ha ha. Finally, he now finally has his own ship and his own team. Buggy was moved by himself and tears welled up in his eyes. It's not easy, Buggy, can have such a day. Actually, it's not easy. Haha, my uncle's decision to stay in the Hunters Guild was really wise. This guy Leno, at first glance, I thought he was different from others. Haha, my uncle, you have a lot of vision. Ha ha ha. Buggy's laughter echoed in the sea. After half a day, an area filled with dense fog appeared in front of Buggy and the others. Buggy brother, there is a misty area ahead. I heard that Gecko Moria, one of the 7 warlords of the sea, is stationed. He has demon fruit power. Since he came here, there have been many supernatural events. Most of the pirates who can reach the Saboti Archipelago are not bad in strength, at least they are elite and can flourish. In fact, there are a few, even with bounties of 60 million or 80 million, who serve as the cadres of the fleet. Of course, there will also be lucky guys who have not encountered any dangers and arrived smoothly all the way. But this kind of person, whose luck has run out in the Saboti Archipelago, is hard to get along. Moria? Buggy pinched his chin, thought for a long time, and said, who is that? Thump. The crew in the back poured a slice. Buggy, don't you know Leah? What? Buggy scratched his head. He had been in the East Blue before, and it was in the circus, and he didn't pay much attention to the news. Moria? He really doesn't know, but this cannot be said. Doesn't it sound like he's ignorant? This undermines his dignity in front of his subordinates. Buggy coughed lightly and said, that kind of guy, do I need to know? Have to say, in terms of pretending, being played by Buggy understands. There is no way, this is what he exercises in the circus, how to fool the audience and children. The crew suddenly realized what Buggy said. As expected of Big Brother Buggy, President Leno's most trusted person, what Shichibukai is not eye-catching at all. That's right, what is Shichibukai? Humph, isn't the strongest creature the prey of the hunter. Buggy Big Brother Saigao. Speaking of which, that Moria was defeated by Kaido, right? I heard that the crew were all killed. That was a long time ago, and then he seemed to return to West Blue, and after a long silence, he returned to the Grand Line. It turns out that he is a loser. What, it is no different from us. Moria lost to Kaido. Kaido lost to the chairman. Brother Buggy is the chairman's confidant, great cadre. So, Brother Buggy, is he stronger than Moria? No problem? Listening to the hot discussion of the crew, Buggy's forehead was dripping with sweat. Moria, are you on the same level as Hancock? In Buggy's mind, the image of being brutally abused by a burly girl flashed across. Although Hancock lost to Leno, it doesn't mean she is weak. Buggy's heart was pounding, he was damned, he was overplaying, and he was definitely not Moria's opponent now. Best, avoid it. Buggy was thinking about what to say, when he suddenly heard the crew talking about why they wanted to attack Moria. Buggy pricked up his ears. If we can kill Moria, we will be appreciated by President Leno, right? Yep. Buggy has a question mark on his forehead. To fight Shichibukai, Gecko Moria. Are you drifting away, or is this uncle crazy? Do not, they must be stopped. Ahem. Buggy coughed heavily and said, no, you can't do this. Huh? Why? Yeah, Brother Buggy. Buggy searched for his intestines, a light flashed in his mind, and he said, of course it's because of discipline. Discipline? Yes, we are hunters, not pirates. The biggest difference between us and pirates is discipline. Buggy starts serious. Buggy is blind. We are now shouldering the important task assigned by the president. A mere Shichibukai, does our mission matter? Of course not. Because of Moria, the president's important event is delayed, that's not acceptable. Pause time. The crew members were enlightened. Yes, as expected of Brother Buggy, what a wise decision. Buggy brother is really a bright light. Oh, we almost made a big mistake. Brother Buggy is too powerful. Amidst all the compliments, it was getting dark. The ship sails into the misty sea. Floating and broken ships appeared on the sea, making Buggy very nervous. Damn it, when we came here with the captain, didn't we have these? Buggy stood at the bow of the boat with folded arms. He pretended to be calm, because he was flustered a lot. Paradise section, there are 7 routes. To reach an island, you need to stay for a while and record the magnetic field of an island before you can move forward. The path that Roger took at the beginning was similar to that of Luffy. 7 capitals of water. Buggy still has an impression. There they hired Tom the Murloc to help build a boat. The next island, through the Misty Sea, arrived at the Sabaody archipelago. Therefore, Buggy passed here before, but at the time, the Misty Sea area was at best invisible and not dangerous. Now, there are too many shipwrecks, right? One of the Shichibukai, the presence of Gecko Moria, did it lead to it? It's terrible. Hope, don't run into them. Buggy prayed inwardly. However, there is a law called Murphy's Law, that is, the more you don't want it to happen, the more it will happen. In addition, Buggy's fluctuating luck, the superimposed buff. After a period of sailing, before their eyes, a strange island appeared. Thriller bark. On the periphery of the island, there is a white circle guardrail. Next moment, a huge mouth opened and the waves rolled in rage, swallowing Buggy's boat into his stomach. As Buggy begins his adventure. New world, on an island with various ferocious behemoths, Shanks and his crew took a short break here. It is close to the kingdom of Titans, Albav, so few pirates would like to camp nearby. Albav, known as the world's most powerful country, is a tribe of Titans, and its land is located in the New World. Although the country has not joined the world government, it has always maintained its independence, and even the world government has not invaded. Occasionally there are Titans living outside, which are also very popular with all parties, and even the marine arranges positions for them. This is in stark contrast to the Murlocs. The reason is simple. The kingdom of Titan is too powerful, so that the forces of all parties are afraid and dare not provoke it. Not only are they long-lived, but they are also born with great strength. Even without Haki, their physique alone is enough to crush Rear Admiral. Relying on his own face, Shanks got the friendship of the Prince of the Titan family and was allowed to stay on the island. The last defeat made Shanks realize that he and his partners were not strong enough. So, they started training and exercising. After experiencing a fiasco, it made them understand what they were after and cherish each other even more. Red Hair Pirates, known as Iron Wall, the road is not all smooth sailing. They also ascended to the throne after 4 years of sailing, and it took only 2.5 years for Luffy to sail. It is the tempering of blood and fire that tempers the Iron Wall. Conqueror's winding. Deep in the island. In Shanks' eyes, Conqueror's Haki spread out like lightning, and Conqueror's wrapped around his body. Boom. With one slash, a lightning-like sword wave flew for 1,000 meters and then split a cliff. Is this the Conqueror's entanglement? It's really powerful? Shanks' opponent is a man with a black knife. He has short black hair and a short beard. Wearing a black top hat with white down. Wearing a burgundy patterned shirt, black windbreaker, white trousers, and black short boots. The world's #1 swordsman, open black lens bracket Hawkeye close black lens bracket Dracula Mihawk. He has a pair of eagle-like, sharp yellow eyes. Even the strongest fighters will inevitably shudder. Mihawk and Shanks are friends who have known each other for many years. They used to be together often, competing in swordsmanship. To exercise myself, Shanks invited him in as a sparring partner. Dang dang. Shanks and Mihawk began to fight fiercely, and the sword waves they slashed cancelled each other out, spreading out on the Persian ground. After a while of contest, Shanks, the newspapers are here. Beckman came back from purchasing supplies and brought the news from outside. The battle is temporarily suspended. Shanks and Mabine sat on the floor, picked up their beers, and flipped through the newspapers that Beckman had brought back. Beckman only went out to purchase once every half a month, so he brought back a lot of newspapers for half a month. Kaido is back. That guy, he really didn't die, Shanks said. Shanks was indeed moved when he heard that Kaido was defeated and disappeared. Finally, he still insisted on his plan and did not go out. It is wise to look at it now. Then face Kaido. It was equivalent to provoking 2 emperors all at once. Mihawk took a sip of wine, nodded and said, the undead monster is really powerful. However, the guy who can defeat him is even more difficult. Shanks sighed. He has tried the 4 emperors level and failed miserably. Didn't you stay in East Blue for a year before and never encountered him? Mihawk was very curious. No, Shanks scratched his head. I always feel that there is a sense of familiarity, but I have never met before. Laji Lu tore his flesh and bones, and said, really, it seems that it popped up all of a sudden, and everyone was shocked. Yes, Beckman and the others nodded. Mihawk shook his head. Can't believe they actually stayed at East Blue and never heard of Leno. If you know if I don't know, I must find a way to get him on board. What a terrible monster. Shanks' chagrin. Mihawk was calm and said, when the time comes, you and him, who is the captain? Ah, I'm really distressed, ha ha ha, forget it, drink some wine. Shanks picked up his glass and laughed loudly. Come on, cheers. Cheers. Shanks' dream is to become the freest pirate in the sea, and he is doing just that. Mihawk smiled. He can become an enemy and friend with Shanks, and it has something to do with Shanks' character and charm. Taking a swig of his beer, Shanks lived Mihawk. By the way, Mihawk, that guy also uses a knife, right? You have to be careful, he's watching you. Mihawk took a sip of his wine and said, actually, I came to you because I had plans to compete with him. Shanks said, didn't you come to me when you heard that I was defeated? No, of course not, I just couldn't find a more suitable partner than you to adjust my state, Mihawk said. Ah, you bastard, really, come here, punish yourself with 3 cups, Shanks laughed. Help me cut him twice, that guy, don't you guys know each other? Mihawk was curious. I didn't know you before, but now I do. In a blink of an eye, 2 days passed, East Blue. Somewhere in the sea near the calm belt, 3 sailing ships, 2 large and 1 small. Pulled by the 2 sea beasts and the bald sea monster, Mienjinjin, it rushed out quickly. Wind. The breeze is blowing. Princess Odahime, Sha Xing, and the hired murlocs stood on the pike-shaped bow. The sea breeze is blowing on your face. It means that they have left calm belt and are about to start a new life unknown to 553. Alegia. On top of the ruins, a new city rose from the ground. After half a year of construction, with the vigorous support of the Kingdom of Awaken, the main body of New Alegia has been basically completed. Look from a distance. The whole city has 3 levels of divisions. This is determined by Alegia's terrain. The bottom is a repaired breakwater dam. The new town is still being perfected. Priority will be provided for the families of hunters and guild-related personnel to live in, and they can be allocated as long as they apply. The entire city is enough to accommodate 300,000 people, and a large forest area and park area have been planned. Go up the steps. About 100 meters away, there is another flat land with scattered buildings. There are a series of related buildings such as the headquarters building of the Hunters Guild, the offices of the 5 major departments, and so on. In front of the headquarters building, there are also flagpoles built, and the flag of the Hunters Guild is flying in the center at this time. In addition, the flags of palaces and islands that support and join the Hunters Guild are also hung. After all, these kingdoms and islands gave the Hunter Guild a franchise fee, which is a mutual cooperation relationship. They have something that they can't solve by themselves, so they can ask the Hunter Guild to dispatch. Especially after Leno beat Kaido, the number of kingdoms and islands willing to cooperate has increased sharply. Then keep going up, retaining and rebuilding the Palace of Alegia, the Temple of Music and other music-related buildings. Afternoon, Crow, Luwell, Gordon, and Kuzan waited at the port and saw 3 ships approaching slowly. Uda was jumping and seeing the mermaid on the boat. He was pleasantly surprised. Wow, is that a mermaid? It's so beautiful. Leno has already contacted them, and she heard from Leno that Maria Napoleon, whom she likes, is also on board. Luwell narrowed her eyes and smiled. It's the same as in the story. Ah, what's that? So, what a big, bald head, pleasant meeting, good start, was reported by Hunters Guild, and became the headline of East Blue's hot discussion. Maria Napoleon, the famous female fishman singer, is even more popular than Princess Odahime and Sharkstar. The arrival of Princess Odahime and Sharkstar was welcomed by everyone. Because of Alegia's new regulations, only happy, peaceful, and happy songs are allowed to be sung, so everyone's mood is very happy. After a short welcome meeting, everyone enjoyed the singing of Maria Napoleon that night. But most humans are still kind. Leno disembarked. He suggested taking Maria Napoleon and her band, the Mermaid Dancers, to perform at Alegia. Although some people have hatred towards Murlocs, Maria Napoleon was pleasantly surprised and praised Uda as a genius. Uda and Gordon are full of surprises for her arrival. Immediately afterwards, Princess Yi Ji and Sha Xing personally raised the flag belonging to the Dragon Palace Kingdom to the flag post. Leno believes that singing can cross racial boundaries and is a universal language in the world. Someone saw Mienjin Jian and couldn't help being surprised. Gordon then played the piano and Uda sang her song. Viewing mermaids as fish, rather than human beings, is a clear form of discriminatory speech. Chapter 106 Murloc Dawn. Buggy is in action, hunting Murloc Tom. The capital of hunters and music, Alegia is reborn. Maria Napoleon, the famous Murloc opera queen, sings the music temple, and there is also a mermaid performance. Hunter Guild President Leno, the king is back. Hunter Guild, get the support of Dragon Official Kingdom. Following Leno's return to Alegia, East Blue's news quickly covered the matter intensively. Whether it is Leno or the Murlocs, they are enough to attract people's attention and increase the sales of newspapers. The day after returning to Alegia, Leno takes Princess Odahime, Sha Xing, Jinbei and other Murlocs to the island where the Murlocs will live. This island is next to Alegia, located west of the South Blue Domain, about 30 nautical miles. It is near the calm belt, off all course and uninhabited. The Sea Kings appear in the waters near Alegia because they are closer to the calm belt. The peculiarity of the island, because of its large height gap. Mountains are formed at high places, and seawater is formed at low places. Obviously it's an island. It looks like it is composed of a large main island and more than a dozen subsidiary islands of different shapes. These islands will only emerge from the water when the tide is low, and most of the area will be submerged by seawater when the tide is high. In addition, in the nearby waters, there will occasionally be super large sea kings. It is obviously inconvenient for humans to live on such an island. Murlocs are just the opposite. This kind of island is very suitable for them. Starting today, you can live here, you can build the houses you like, the things you want to do. Leno said to Murlocs and mermaids. In addition, without permission, it is forbidden to leave the nearby waters, so as not to cause unnecessary conflicts with humans. This requirement has already been explained when recruiting these murlocs and mermaids. They can live here, fish, breed, etc., and when they have jobs, someone will come to pick them up. Getting in touch with new things requires a step-by-step process, and Leno needs murlocs to give him work. However, it should not be too overwhelming. In addition, these murlocs can develop this island as an outpost for Alegia to travel through the calm belt. Walking through the calm belt, although dangerous, is several days faster than walking upside down mountain, Marijoy, etc. Leno hopes that a new route can be opened up, from Alegia, through the island, through the calm belt, to the Grand Line Paradise. Then it will emerge in the arrived paradise, look for a small island, and control it. Immediately afterwards, open up a route from a certain island in the paradise, to Sabodi Archipelago, to the Fishman Island, to New World. The other way, from a certain island in the park, crosses the park, and then wears the calm belt, you can reach South Blue opposite East Blue. After reaching New World, in the same way, create 2 routes, one to West Blue and one to North Blue. As long as it can be successful, it is equivalent to saying that the Hunter Guild has a channel to communicate with the world, and its significance is self-evident. Actually, there is another way. Gather the power of the 3 kings of Uranus, Pluton, and Poseidon to destroy the upside-down mountain and Marijoy. The 4 seas will meet at these 2 places and become one piece, becoming one piece close black lens bracket. That is, all blue, in Sanji's mouth. For now, the former is easier to do. The latter, still have to wait for Poseidon, Shirahoshi to awaken himself, and get Pluton and its blueprint. I and Luffy's Nika fruit seems to be in it, acting as a key. Perhaps, this fruit contains the will of Joey Boy, which can open the real treasure of Raftel? In short, these are still Leno's guesses. Of course, some people may wonder why Leno himself penetrated the Red Continent without using fists. Marijoy and the red line of upside-down mountains seem to be just a thin layer, but in fact they are hundreds of miles thick. The deeper you go, under the huge pressure, the hardest rock formation is formed. If you hammer it alone, can Yugung move the mountain? After 10 years of hammering, Leno is not allowed to beat his ministers. It's better to wait for the 3 kings to come out together. What's more, after 10 years, Leno's strength will definitely improve again, perhaps directly surpassing the 3 kings. Open up those routes, at most half a year to a year. And with the opening of the route, every time you go to an area, you can directly expand the Hunters Guild power. As soon as possible, let the Hunters Guild spread all over the world, Paradise, and New World. Furthermore, how leisurely is Leno, day after day, going to the red line to punch the wall. Big punch 80. Small punch 40. Princess Odahime, Sharkstar, and the Murlocs were delighted when they heard that Leno would live in the beautiful island in front of them. Really? Master Leno? Wow, that's unbelievable, this is beautiful. In the future, will this be our new home? The Murlocs and mermaids stared and exclaimed in surprise and joy. This is heaven. Long live Lord Leno, Master Leno, we love you to death. Master Leno, when I am 30 years old, I am willing to give birth to offspring for you. The island in front of me is huge. The main island is shaped like a crescent moon and covered with lush forests. To the south are steep cliffs. The sea surface has never been polluted, the clear blue water is extremely calm. On the vast sandy beach, the pure white fine sand reflects the sun's rays and complements the clear seawater, which is intoxicating. Around the main island, there are more than a dozen islands and reefs. The large ones have a diameter of thousands of meters, and the small ones are 50 or 60 meters, dotted around, each with its own characteristics. Going further into the trench, there are many beautiful coral reefs that set off the entire island, which is simply beautiful. Princess Odahime and Sharking thought that the island Leno mentioned was just a small reef. Did not expect. It turned out to be a large archipelago with a radius of more than 10 miles. When it is developed, it is enough to house tens of millions of Murlocs. And, not just on the island. Murlocs can also live in the sea area under the island. This island is only for you to live in, it doesn't belong to you, it still belongs to Hunter Guild. Leno emphasized, saying, if you want to live here, you need to serve the Hunter Guild, of course, it is a serious job. You enjoy the same treatment as the human employees of the Hunter Guild. Yes, we will. Great, Lord Leno, you are really our benefactor. Master Leno, do you need service tonight? I will only give you a special mermaid fish spa. Master Leno, I can do it too, gender, race, don't get too stuck. Leno. Circle.operator oh circle.operator, among the Murlocs, is there such a thing? It would be a pity if you don't go to the Shemale Kingdom and find Ivankov to change your personality. The Murlocs and mermaids were surprised and rushed to their new homeland. Even here, there is nothing left, but they saw hope. Teacher Leno, you are really, really good, Princess Odahime burst into tears with excitement. Very good, unexpectedly, part of the dream she had been pursuing was easily realized by the human beings in front of her. Sharkstar was full of emotions, looking at the island, solemnly said, Master Leno, for your kindness, the Fishmen Island will remember eternal life. Jinbei, Aladdin and others from the Sun Pirates couldn't help but be moved when they saw the island in front of them. The Sun Pirates are chasing their dreams and inheriting Fisher Tiger's dream, isn't it just the scene in front of them? One day, they will be able to live above board and live on an island full of sunshine. Mr. Leno, does this island have a name? Princess Odahime asked excitedly. Not yet. A place like this adjacent to the calm belt, which is not suitable for human habitation, who would patronize it except pirates? Please give it a name, Princess Odahime said. Leno said. The name? It's called Shanksy Island, how about it? Dawn Island. The morning light bathed in the sun's rays, Mr. Leno is so knowledgeable. Princess Odahime's eyes were full of admiration. Is this called knowledgeable? Princess Yiji and Shashing led the people to start building Dawn Island. There are Murloc craftsmen on the boat that came together. Use local materials. Coupled with the part of the building materials provided by the Hunter Guild, it is enough to build a place for 200 Murlocs and mermaids to live in. Period. Jinbei and Mianjinjin cleaned up the sea beasts and sea kings in the sea area around Paradise Island to ensure the safety of the island. Leno asked Luwell to follow up. His energy is mainly focused on handling the affairs of the Hunter Guild, and at the same time better improve the organizational structure. After all, everything is new, and many problems need to be dealt with, some of which were not considered before. Leno handles these things, not in Alegia, but like Morgan's, in a ship. Uranus, deterrence is still there. He stays in Alegia and is easy to be shot. And as long as he is not in Alegia, 5 elders dare not go mad. Even have to treat each other nicely. Send an invitation, Hope, Hunter Guild, to join the world government. Becoming a member of the world government does not necessarily have to be a real country, such as Jamal 66. As long as the world government thinks you are valuable, they will send out invitations, but they will not invite you randomly. If the whole world joins the world government, who will they plunder, exploit, and oppress? Leno didn't agree to the world government's invitation, nor did he say he didn't agree, he was just procrastinating anyway. In this regard, Leno has won the true inheritance of a great country. 7 days passed in a blink of an eye. On board, Leno, Kuzan, Crow, and Luwell had a conference call to discuss the feasibility of opening a voyage. It's not difficult to open up a route, but maintenance is the key. Combelt's oversized sea kings are a problem. In marine, there is a technology that disperses special sound waves to disperse sea kings when a ship passes by. There is still a need for steamship technology, but the cost of this type of ship is very high. Kuzan rational analysis. Leno nodded slightly, and the 2 points Kuzan said were the root cause of Combelt's resistance to passing through. Power. Extra-large sea kings. Fix them. Navigating the Combelt is a breeze. Leno knew someone who could solve both problems, Murloc Tom. His shipbuilding skills are at the pinnacle. He also developed the Sea Train project, so that the world government gave him an amnesty and gave him a period of time. The special steel rail is immersed in the seawater, so it can make people come and go? Leno's world can't do it either. Moreover, the sound of train passing and rail collision can disperse nearby fish, sea kings and other creatures. Isn't this the same technology that Marine uses on warships to travel through the Combelt? Know what's going on over there with Buggy? Say Buggy. Buggy's phone rings in. The capital of 7 waters. Hulk Island. A group of people were fleeing quickly, chasing after the soldiers, Ace Bagu and Frankie. Damn it, stop. You pirates, they killed Mr. Tom. The people in the capital of 7 waters shouted, and Tien Fen was angry. The gunshots were intertwined, but their power was limited. Buggy returned to the boat, and said to the guy in black mask and black clothes, "Hey, use your ability quickly." He only showed a pair of eyes, and said, Hee, don't worry Buggy, Perona is in your hands. Really, why would I do this with you? Negative ghost. A figure wrapped in a cloak floating in the air, a ghost flew out of his body and rushed towards the pursuers. Every pursuer who was crossed by the ghost suddenly became negative and unable to arouse any motivation. Even Frankie and Ace Bagu were the same. Damn, those guys, I want to kill. Woo woo woo. Why am I so useless? Frankie cried negatively, and Ace was tongue-in-cheek. Oh, great, is this the ghost that makes us so negative? Buggy laughed. The ship sailed out of Hulk Island and drove away. Shortly after, they joined another team. Did you steal it, Tom the Murloc's body? Buggy asked. Oh, brother Buggy. Steal it, because those people are all chasing you, and there are not many people left to guard the corpse, so it's easy. Haha, well done, I will praise you to the president, so that you can join early. But Tom the Murloc is dead, why steal his body? You don't need to worry about this, Mariejoy, 5 elders are discussing business. The position of 7 warlords of the sea, there are still 2 vacancies, do you want to invite that person? It was intended to be given to the leader of the hunter, Leno, but now, it is obviously inappropriate, so give it to him. Well, Sea Soldier Hunter, Haki Mihawk, the world's #1 swordsman, is good enough for this task. As the supreme head of the world government, it's not just the Hunters Guild that 5 elders has to deal with. Boo boo boo. The phone bug rang abruptly, interrupting their discussion. The bearded 5 elders, sitting at the phone, picked up the receiver. What? Murloc Tom was assassinated. Okay. The other 4-5 elders looked together. At that time, Pluton battleship was built in the capital of Seven Waters, and a blueprint was left behind, which has never been seen. It wasn't until Tom the Murloc built the ship for One Piece Roger that he caught the attention of the 5 elders. I would rather, Zhao Nuos, kill the wrong one than let it go. 5 elders sent people from CP5 to investigate and arrest Tom the Murloc in the name of building a ship for One Piece. The proposal of the Sea Train project made them more convinced that Tom the Murloc had the blueprint of Pluton. Because these technologies have long been buried in the depths of history with the huge kingdom, and a small part of them have been inherited by them. There is only one reason for Tom the Murloc to come up with a technology that does not belong to this era and is not controlled by them. He got something that didn't belong to him, in order to capture the Pluton blueprint. 5 elders asked Tom to build a sea train to delay the time, and at the same time sent people to search secretly. Especially after Leno hit Marijoy, 5 elders added more manpower. Who knows? What I got was the news that Tom the Murloc was killed. Are you sure he's really dead? Yes, I saw with my own eyes that he was shot more than a dozen times and died on the spot. The pirate who shot and shouted something, asking you to build a ship for One Piece, it is probably a vendetta. The 5 elders looked at each other. I remember, he still has 2 disciples, where are they? Where are those pirates? Our men are chasing. It would be a good thing if Tom died. The Pluton blueprint has since disappeared, and no one can fix it anymore. So, is he really dead? Yes. After the 5 elders looked at each other, they felt a sudden headache. We are too late to rescue. Maybe he found out that we were going to do something to him, so he directed and acted on his own, using his own death to cover the blueprint. Well, makes sense, donkey. The person on the opposite side hesitated for a moment, and said, it was burned. The pirate set a big fire before leaving. Still, kneeling outside the building, crying bitterly. No, we can relax our vigilance, keep an eye on his 2 disciples. The Murloc Tom may have transferred the blueprint. Escape. If there is a conspiracy, Tom will not abandon his 2 apprentices. Where's Tom the Murloc's body? Put down the microphone. In other words, Tom the Murloc was not only killed, but also burned to ashes? Chapter 107 The Death of Celestial Dragons, Red Hair Pirates, shocked the world again. The capital of 7 Waters. The people of CP5 looked at the burning building with gloomy faces. He dared not say that Tom the Murloc's body was gone. Then he would have to be buried with him, although I don't know what those people did to steal the body. Tom the Murloc is dead. No proof. Now he is at best a dereliction of duty, the influence never tires. Soon, 5 elders' new orders came, asking him to keep an eye on Ace Bagu and Frankie, disciples of Murloc Tom. Buggy here. Get rid of the chasing ships and return to the foggy area. In the cabin, the genius surgeon Hobak is performing emergency surgery on Tom the Murloc, quickly taking the bullet and suturing the wound. Moria, Buggy, and a Fukuru zombie watch him perform the surgery together. As expected of a genius surgeon, the suture technique is truly an art, Fukuru praised. Buggy looked at it with his arms folded, and said, Hey, Tom, aren't you afraid of dying yourself? Fukuru laughed heartily. Death, what's there to be afraid of? It's an accident to see you again, a red-nosed brat. Buggy immediately protested. Damn it, don't call me Red Nose, call me Buggy, a big hunter. One person won Fukuru when arguing. Hobak finally sewed up the wound and let out a weird laugh. Shush. Moria, you can stuff the shadows in. The tall figure pulled out a shadow from Fukuru's body and put it back on Murloc Tom's body. Cough cough cough, accompanied by a painful cough. The dead Murloc Tom was resurrected. Moria, your ability is really useful, Buggy said happily. Hey hee hee hee. Moria laughed. Buggy and Moria are going to hang out, it's been 7 or 8 days since. Then, Buggy and the crew strayed into the thriller bark, and the boat crashed into the shore and broke a hole. They had to go ashore for repairs, but this is actually the zombie plan of Moria and Hobak, which keeps intercepting passing ships. Use the crew's shadows, corpses, and create zombies. So, after landing, Buggy and his party were attacked by zombie creatures on the ship, and after scattered, they encountered Absalom and Perona one after another. Buggy's swinging strong luck played a role again, and he strayed into the castle while fleeing all the way. He saw Moria in the old castle, and just as he was about to do it, Moria recognized his uniform. After some inquiries, Moria immediately admitted that Buggy turned out to be a senior cadre of the Hunter Guild. He was defeated by Kaido back then, even Kaido's mighty. Now, the mighty Kaido was defeated by Leno. What concept? Leno is 2 grades ahead of him. Where does Moria dare to be an enemy? Ever since, Moria asked Perona, Absalom, and 583 Hobak to release those crew members. Buggy was terrified all the way, and he didn't dare to push his limits on other people's territory, so he had a banquet with Moria. As soon as the 2 parties drank the wine, they immediately called each other brothers. Buggy felt that it would be too embarrassing to go to the capital of 7 Waters by himself to make troubles, so he simply coaxed and fooled him. Moria thought, the enemy's enemy is a friend, and Inuo's defeat can be regarded as revenge for herself. Then, Buggy and Moria team up. Together, they designed an accident that killed Tom the Murloc. When shooting, Moria takes advantage of the chaos to take away the shadow. Buggy is responsible for attracting pursuers. Another group of people went to steal the corpse, and they could immediately send it to Hobak for treatment. Certainly, Murloc Tom had no knowledge of the whole plan. It was his shadow, tucked behind Fukuru, before Buggy could explain it to him. Buggy and Murloc Tom are old acquaintances. There is this relationship. Murloc Tom was willing to feign death and leave. Leno asked Buggy to do this because of Buggy's relationship with Roger's crew. East Blue. Knowing that Buggy succeeded, Leno praised him a few words. Although Moria was involved, it didn't matter. To be honest, Leno didn't expect to succeed when asked Buggy to do this. Anyway, let him run away after a wave. Create chaos for the capital of Seven Waters first, and then deal with it after he passes by. Unexpected. Buggy gave a surprise. Leno sends Buggy and the others back to the Thriller Bark. He contacted Kuzan, who had set off from Dawn Island to try to open up a route, and secretly brought Tom back. The Sea Circle calendar just started in 1512, and the news of Murloc Tom's assassination brought some haze to this year. It's just that the news has not been widely disseminated, and there are very few followers. Who cares if a shipwright lives or dies, even if he built a boat for Roger? Even if he built the sea train, but only in Ping? Ordinary people are not in the mood to care about these things, they prefer news related to big shots. Recently, Hunters Guild has also been quiet, and began to focus on developing itself and expanding East Blue's business. Hunter President Leno, who dominates the news, is no longer seen. The Hunters Guild news still occasionally reveals his whereabouts, such as discussing cooperation with a certain king. For example, it was announced that Maid Terega would be removed from the list of alternate hunters and killed by himself because he killed innocent civilians. For example, when Alegia announced the completion of the reconstruction, she attended the celebration banquet and cut the ribbon in person to participate in the celebration. For example, the construction of the Hunter School started, and Leno personally supervised the construction. Waiting for the above news, last year, it would still cause heated discussions, but this year, not many people paid attention to it. The novelty of people is over. Seeing a person every day, who doesn't get annoyed? News is always chasing freshness. Just like the red hair pirates that have been on fire for half a year. After Leno defeated Kuzan, he immediately fell out of favor and was no longer in the limelight. Hunter Guild, now, it is also at this stage. But this situation is undoubtedly the best precipitation period for the Hunter Guild that has already exploded. Not only Hunter Guild, but also Leno, after a crazy period. He and the Hunters Guild have too many things that need to be digested before they can be fully used by him. Because of Leno and Hunter Guild, there is no need for exposure at this time to enhance their reputation. The four emperors of New World, who will be in the news every day, only newcomers need fame, so they chase big news. Shimotsuki Village, after killing Toria, Leno is back here, the way of the practice. He rekindled the furnace of wrought iron and forged weapons out of Haki. Kozaburo, Koshiro, and the kids at the dojo marvel at what he has achieved outside. Leno's gaze, fixed on the flame, his armament Haki, gradually changed from sharp to hammer of the clock. Kosaburo held the pipe and said appreciatively, "Precipitation is a good thing, too blunt or too sharp will not work. You have to be blunt when you want to be blunt, and sharp when you want to be sharp. This is the highest state." The legendary realm of the craftsman, Leno, shirtless, beat the red-hot iron body, sparks splashed, and Haki slowly penetrated into it. Focused and short practice, brush off the dust in Leno's heart. Toria killed innocent civilians, and taking advantage of his identity as a hunter to steal his employer's treasure, let Leno examine his dream. The development of a power is bound to be accompanied by both external and internal damage. Externally, revealing calendar. Inside, perfect the rules. In addition, law firms and hunter schools in the 5 major departments need to start to play a role. A new famous knife was forged. Leno named this knife, Punishment, as a symbol of the law firm, and handed it to Belle Mel. Leno thought for a long time, and after several days of investigation back to Shimotsuki Village, he finally chose her. Although Belle Mel's strength is low, he is neither humble nor overbearing. He dares to fight against power, is outspoken, and is not stubborn. Low strength doesn't matter. Open black lens bracket law firm, close black lens bracket. It is not a field department at all. It mainly focuses on trial work, and needs an upright person to take charge. Furthermore, after half a year of training, Belle is already better than when he retired. Give her a decent devil fruit, enough for the job. Justice Eni's lobby of the world government is not a strong figure either. Belle Mel, who was trusted by Leno, took office and began to handle complaints and reports. She served as a major in the Marine, was in management, and had exercised, so she quickly adapted to the new job. New Okagawa and Nami stayed in Shimotsuki Village. They got along for such a long time. The people in the dojo liked the 2 little girls very much. The impact of the Toria incident was gradually eliminated as the law firm played its role. February. In September last year, the first batch of hunters who passed the assessment went through the 6-month observation period. Leno himself issues licenses for them. Lu Chi, Kaku, Khalifa, Orovia, Robin, Van Oka and others are impressively listed. In March, Morgans broke the big news: world government's heavenly gold is passive. The world was shocked. What kind of fierce person dares to rob open black lens bracket heavenly gold close black lens bracket? Could it be a Lenore? Follow-up reports on this incident did not come out until the second half of the month. Donji, Siege, Key Doflamingo has been invited to be one of the 7 warlords of the sea. Doflamingo takes the last Shichibukai position under the threat of exposing Marijoy's secret. Gecko Moria, Bartholomew Bear, Boa Hancock, Haishia Jinbei, Sherlock Dar, Joe Ramir Mihawk, Don Quixote Doflamingo. 7 warlords of the sea live together. Big news for April. Celestial Dragons Don Quixote Muscarad San, shipwrecked, killed by his former Murloc slaves. The butterfly effect caused by Leno spread to the Fishmen Island. Princess Yi is temporarily living on Chengxi Island, practicing how to realize her dream, but failed to prevent this from happening. This alarmed Marijoy. Celestial Dragons demanded that the murderer be severely punished and the Fishmen Island Dragon Palace Kingdom be obliterated. Furious, 5 elders ordered the marine at the Buster Call level to dispatch. Finally, when they were about to bombard the Fishmen Island, they were attacked by super-large sea kings that suddenly appeared and had to withdraw. 5 elders realized that open black lens bracket Poseidon close black lens bracket was awakened and summoned the sea kings. But who it is, they don't know yet. Frightened by the prestige of open black lens bracket Poseidon close black lens bracket. And Leno came forward to mediate. The world government released a report to clarify that something was wrong. Saint Don Quixote Musgard was not killed by a slave, but was shipwrecked and died when he encountered a slave. In exchange, King Neptune executed the related Murlocs for offending the corpses of the celestial dragons. The impact of this event was far-reaching. The bombardment of the Buster Call fleet did not happen, but the real threat made the Fishmen Island feel lingering fear. Originally because of Fisher Tiger, Odahime the Murlocs who were split by the princess's different ideas reshake hands and make peace. The dialogue between Leno and Princess Odahime in the Dragon Palace last year was eulogized by the Murlocs. The Fishmen Island is the Murloc paradise. Go to land, and we shall be safe from danger. Guard the Fishmen Island. The Murlocs all admired Leno's foresight. If it weren't for the deep sea this time, if it wasn't for the Sea King's rescue, the Fishmen Island would have become Ohara, right? After the crisis, Princess Odahime and Shawshing returned to the Fishmen Island, and described the life of Dawn Island to the Murlocs. This caused heated discussions among the Murlocs. Hearing that becoming a hunter has the opportunity to go to Dawn Island, there are many applicants. Fortune teller Molly decided to go to Dawn Island. May. The Hunter Guild the Fishmen Island branch is established. For the time being, Sharkstar and others in the Murlocs are in charge of the operation, and a commissioner, Beiji Kellaw, from the headquarters will be sent to guide the work. June. The South Blue branch of the Hunters Guild is established. Branch Chief Kuzan. Kuzan is a native of South Blue and is now returning home. With Kuzan's arrival at South Blue and the establishment of a branch, it means that the Hunter Guild, East Blue to South Blue route has been opened. July. Large-scale protests broke out in Ricerosa, a member of the world government. Expressed dissatisfaction with the king's sudden collection of taxes and arson. August. Don Quixote Doflamingo claims that he is the legal owner of the kingdom of Darice Rosa. With the support of the people, he overthrew the Liku family's regime that had lasted for hundreds of years and became the new king of Darice Rosa. September. The New Year's assessment of the Hunter Guild has begun. The assessment scope includes East Blue, but not limited to East Blue. Jumeda Islands. The crowd was surging. People from Daughters Island, South Blue, the Fishmen Island, and Paradise who applied to participate in the assessment arrived one after another. Look, it's the most beautiful woman in the world, Boa Hancock. Wow, so beautiful. Hey, how did you petrify? Daughter Island is a partner of Hunters Guild, and because it's the first time to come, Hancock also came. Sweet fruit, the power should not be underestimated. Especially when he was 1 year older, Hancock's figure and temperament became more and more perfect, and the damage he did was astonishing. Master Leno, I miss you so much. Seeing Leno, Hancock immediately became docile, and let others look at him, and suddenly he was full of murderous aura. In the past few months, Leno has mainly focused on the construction and development of the Hunter Guild, and the opening of routes. Moreover, every time Leno appears to the outside world, he will be in a different place, making it difficult for the world government to grasp. Leno just went to Daughter Island last month to popularize guild knowledge. Kuzan's development in South Blue went smoothly, and he personally escorted more than 100 people to Kesha town. The people from the Fishmen Island were transferred by Crow and Jinbei. The experience in the Fishmen Island has improved Crow's strength. He has the giant cheetah fruit of Zone Ancient Species, and awakened observation Haki and armament Haki. It's just that the intensity is still low. However, Crow's strength is enough to compete with Naval Headquarters and the weaker Vice Admiral. The people in the park are basically Buggy's subordinates. Buggy is currently in the park. Consider yourself a treasure hunter, looking for and digging the legendary treasures in the paradise. There are also several young people among them, who are the friends that Kuina met during the Sabodi Archipelago experience. The assessment is in progress. Survival in the sea, physical test, fire of will, forest of confusion, ice arena. It is still a 5-level assessment. The reference personnel of Daughter Island, the Fishmen Island, and the Paradise part showed East Blue and South Blue what power is. The red-haired Shanks, who has been practicing for more than a year, announced his return with a strong posture. Moreover, the number of hunters who passed the assessment of the Hunters Guild increased sharply this year, reaching 1032 people. Red Hair Pirates once again launched an impact on the position of 4 emperors and achieved impressive results. 1512 flies by in the blink of an eye. Hancock passed the level as quickly as possible. A piece of news shocked the world. Red Hair Pirates attack the 4 emperors' fleet, kill the 4 emperors' Kadri Ochaku. These people are scattered in different regions. Leno harvested another batch of talents from these people. It took 3 hours and 32 minutes. For the rest, the efficiency is also higher than that of the first batch of people who participated in the assessment. She was in the first level, which required teamwork, and was delayed for 3 hours, and the next 4 levels only took 32 minutes. This shows that the overall strength of the people participating in the assessment this year is stronger than last year. 15,133. After 6 months, some of them withdrew due to violations of regulations or felt inappropriate, leaving 935 people. 1513 came. After the assessment, enter the Hunter School for 7 days of training. Return to their respective locations for a 6-month study period. Chapter 108 Red-Haired Storm. Robin. President, what don't you want to do to me? Redhead Shanks challenges the 4 emperors again. The Shanks pirates have won consecutive battles, and their record is impressive. New World is back. Whitebeard, Big Mom, Beasts Pirates, express high concern. The time came to see Circle Calendar in May 1513, and Red Hair Pirates became the newspaper darling of the past 2 months again. Relevant reports, one after another. Shanks and his partners, who have been silent for a year, created a record that attracted attention from all over the world. The entire Red Hair Pirates showed strength, confidence, and unity, and were dubbed Ironwall by people. The Hunter Guild is also paying attention. Grand Line. The Kingdom of Kamabaka is also known as the Second Daughter Island, Shemale Paradise, home of new humans and so on. When Long Ivankov traveled to the village of Shimotsky 3 years ago, he left a permanent pointer to Leno. Not long ago, Leno was kindly invited by the leaders of the Revolutionary Army, Long and Ivankov, to come here as a guest. Boom! As the shockwave fell, amidst the violent explosion, the tall body of the human Demon King fell straight down. Ivankov was very curious about Leno's strength, so he took the initiative to ask for a fight and had a discussion with Leno. The Shemale King did this not only out of curiosity, but also for the dragon to evaluate and have a more intuitive concept. Ivankov may seem unorthodox, but he is very intelligent. He has revived people who doctors believed were hopeless in countries that were on the verge of death. He is the strongest Shemale King in history who left behind the legend of rescue. Ivankov lost. So strong, there is absolutely no power to fight back. Ivankov's devil fruit has very little effect on Leno, his armed color is too strong to break. The members of the Revolutionary Army were surprised and murmured in low voices. Of course, he is the strongest hunter in the world. The one who defeated Kaido is above the monsters, no, the monster killer who hunts monsters. People are naturally in awe of the strong. The dragon folded his arms beside him, his eyes were awe-inspiring. After the battle between Leno and Kaido, can it evolve again? Leno now, in his opinion, is calmer and more relaxed than when he fought Kaido. Invincible. His demeanor exudes such confidence and boldness. Long, you or him, who can win? Sabo asked in a low voice. It has been 3 years since Sabo joined the Revolutionary Army. He has outstanding talents, not only military strength, but also a brilliant mind. Therefore, Long often took him with him to cultivate. Leno is stronger. Long did not say who would win. No one can say for sure about the battle. He did not arrogantly say that he could win, nor did he belittle himself by saying that he would lose. Ivankov stood up straight, panting, Leno boy, are you really pervert? Are you interested in joining our Shemale kingdom? Ivankov excitedly said, if you become a woman, you will definitely surprise the world like Hancock. Yeah, join us. Let us become new humans. Everyone in the human monster kingdom cheered. Leno. Circle.operator oh circle.operator. Okay. This habit, no longer women's clothing, has the direct sexuality changed? Leno couldn't understand the minds of these people. Ahem. Forget it. Leno waved his hand, much to Ivankov's regret. Open black lens bracket ding. You defeated your opponent, and you scanned for talents. Hormones, SS level. Strategy, S level. Observation Haki, S level. Medical skills, S level. Armament Haki, A level. The system prompt sounds. The human Demon King is not the main combatant of the Revolutionary Army, but mainly acts as a doctor and a logistical role for treatment. His combat power relies on devil fruit. Please host choose a talent as soon as possible. Leno didn't hesitate. Choose, hormones. Ding, successfully copied talent, hormone. Talent introduction. You will be able to control hormones, thus affecting emotions. Strength. SS level, ding. It is detected that the host has similar talents, infection, hormones, encouragement, excitement, mania. Is it integrated and improved? Close black lens bracket. The talents of encourage, and mania were obtained by Leno from harvesting a wave of talents last year. They are similar to infection, talent. Now, with a hormone, it can evolve. Fusion. Open black lens bracket ding. Host, please choose one of the talents as the direction of evolution, and the rest of the talents are fusion materials. Close black lens bracket. Leno didn't hesitate. Evolve, infection, open black lens bracket ding. Start to evolve, close black lens bracket. On the system panel, a mysterious light flickered, like a rainbow, and also like an aurora, very gorgeous. The rays converged to form Uzumaki, Class S, infected. Grade A, cheers, Grade A, cheers, Grade B, manic. SS rank, hormones, the 5 talents, invested in it, began to focus on infection, entangled with each other, and merged together. Infection, talent, derived from the demon sword, Muramasa. In Leno's view, the potential is huge. The light of the system twists and rotates, like a starry sky, and like a black hole, devouring the mysterious power area. Talent is slowly melting. About 2 minutes. Ding, congratulations to the success of the fusion. Host has obtained an unendowed infection, SS level. Infection. After the fusion of talents, the name has not changed, but the level strength has been enhanced. Open black lens bracket introduction to talent. At the physiological level, through implanting an object with the same talent into a certain part of the body to assimilate or control others. At the psychological level, through emotions such as fear, awe, love, and sadness, arouse the same emotions and actions in others. Note. Those who are determined will be less affected and will have side effects. Close black lens bracket. It seems that this talent has not changed, but Leno could feel it. It did get stronger and more effective. Under the clear sky, under the Sakura flower tree. Leno drinks with the dragon. Leno, what do you think of the situation in New World? Long asked. The Revolutionary Army and the Hunters Guild have the same enemies, plus their previous acquaintances. They can still talk to each other. Long is very interested in some of Leno's ideas, and often writes letters or calls to communicate with each other. In Long's view, it's a pity that Leno didn't join the Revolutionary Army. His ideas are all for the revolution. Even if Leno is willing to join, he is willing to play support. Long's biggest dream is to change the world. Before that, he has been groping how to change the world. It was Leno who told him to arm himself. If nothing else happens, next year, Shanks and the Red Hair Pirates will become the new emperors of Tianhai. In Leno's memory, Shanks will also become one of the 4 emperors next year. We plan to take advantage of the turmoil in New World and launch a coup in South Blue. As a try, are you interested? Dragon invites. So fast? Watch out, world government. Leno reminded, and then smiled. Although I am very interested, I am more interested in New World. Long felt a little regretful. Leno obviously had other plans. Indeed, the storm caused by Shanks has attracted the attention of the world. New World is in a period of turmoil. Even careerists from all over the world are restless, including dragons. After a small gathering, before leaving, Leno thought of something. He asked Ivankov alone. I heard that you have one of the Shichibukai in your hand, the secret of K-Lockdar, what is that? Leno boy, how do you know? Ivankov was surprised. This matter. Only he and Lockdar know. Lockdal told Leno? This is a secret. Ivankov's mouth is still strict, and he has no bad habit of casually revealing other people's privacy. Secret? Leno became more and more curious. Could it be that Lockdal is the same as you, a she-male, or is he a woman? Ivankov's shocked face. Leno boarded the ship, set sail, and left the country of monsters. He went back to the cabin, and there was a large office in the middle belly. He sat down in the office, and the secretary Robin opened the door. President, the information sent by Minister Wire. Leno took the file. Robin gave him a curious look. What's wrong? Leno looked up. Robin coughed lightly and said, President, don't you want to do something to me? It's been almost 2 years since she came to the Hunters Guild. Leno asked her for special training a few times, asking her to improve her strength. It really only treats her as a normal person, and doesn't mention Ohara at all, and doesn't say anything like the historical text. Does Leno not know her worth? No. Robin remembered that after Leno came back from the Fishman Island, there were rubbings of the historical text on his desk. But Leno never asked her to translate, which made Robin feel like a thorn in his heart. Robin is a very suspicious person, that is to say, full of curiosity, but Leno refuses to have a showdown with her. On the one hand, she was curious about the historical text Leno got, and on the other hand, she was afraid that he was like those people. Doing what? Leno was surprised, and then looked her up and down. Is the secretary doing something? Robin didn't know whether Leno had misunderstood it or did it on purpose, but after being scratched by that gaze, his whole body went numb, and he escaped from the office. Sabo de Archipelago. Night. inside the giant mangrove. After a fierce battle, the resident commander, Gion Vice Admiral, has a pair of beautiful peach blossom eyes, which are somewhat bruised. This man has become stronger again, after she obtained the magnetic fruit. According to what Leno said, she developed many moves and her combat power increased greatly. Now, Gion is already a strong contender for the admiral position vacated after Kuzan left. And her magnetic fruit has obvious restraint on people who use knives, swords, guns and other weapons. Unless the material is special and is not affected by magnetic fruit, those bullets and swords will not hurt her. Although her magnetic fruit has not yet reached the state of awakening, it perfectly fills in what she lacks. In addition, Gion rekindled her hope and fighting spirit to become admiral, and she worked hard on knowledge, armament Haki. Compared with the previous year, her strength has increased greatly, and she has been recognized by naval headquarters and 5 elders. But that's it, still didn't beat Leno. Even, the current Leno, from the beginning to the end, only wraps his fists around the armed color, which is enough to suppress her. His armed colors are varied, and are no longer limited to the bluntness of sleeping, the sharpness of sword, and the defensiveness of armor. He can change at any time, almost at will, sharp when attacking and the toughest armor when defending. This is the power that an SSS-level armed color should possess. Being able to do this shows that Leno has developed his talent after a year of subterfuge. Sent to the limit, Gion felt that Garp's position as the world's #1 armed color might be lost. She breathed a sigh of relief, looked at Leno, and asked curiously, "Are you planning to take this opportunity to march to the New World?" "Okay." Leno smiled and said, "The timing of Shanks' trouble is just right. This kind of chaotic situation is best to take advantage of." After another year, Leno not only grew in strength, but also grew in age, and his height also increased. He stood up almost as tall as Gion, with a strong physique exuding a tough and powerful luster. At the same time, the SSS level, beauty, talent has also been integrated, making his current facial features and appearance almost perfect. When they met again, Gion wondered if Leno had changed. It was simply unbelievable. Looking at Leno's face, Gion's cheeks were hot, and he couldn't help but feel a feeling of liking and fascination. His muscular outline is obvious, not abrupt, and contains terrifying power. In fact, over the past year or so, the two have met several times, and every time they meet, they will compare each other's stars. The improvement of Gion's strength is inseparable from Leno's sparring to test her Haki and magnetic fruit moves. In return, after the two fight, they will definitely fight again. Gion got up, took the initiative to hug Leno, and said, "Not only New World, right? West Blue, North Blue too?" She was born as a geisha, so she naturally knows how to make men like her. "Why, scouting for Marine." Gion Taohua narrowed her eyes and said, "Can't I? I'm the future Marine Admiral, so naturally I'm standing on the Marine side." .0, oh. Leno lifted her jaw. "The future Gion Admiral, what are you doing now?" Gion's face is like a peach blossom, exuding a charming mood. Ask for information. At her age, women are at their most beautiful. Appearance, figure, and temperament are at their peak, not inferior to Hancock, known as the goddess of Marine. Especially Gion's long legs, because of her height, she is taller and slender than Hancock. The spider tattoo on her body gave her a wild charm. Then you have to work hard. The relationship between Leno and Gion is more complicated, not to the level of lovers, and not the kind of friend and foe. More like after a fight. Let each other's body and mind get a kind of relaxation and comfort. Early morning. The sky is not yet bright and the morning light is faint. Leno used freeze talent to create huge ice cubes. Then split the inside and the ice melted. Gion put 2 sabers into it, controlled the magnetic fruit, generated high temperature, and quickly heated the water. A large hot tub filled with steam appeared. Dip in and bathe. Leno said with a smile, "The ability of devil fruit is really convenient." Gion washed his face twice and relaxed his body. She exhales. Leno is getting stronger and stronger, she really can't stand it. She squinted at Leno and said, "You shouldn't be in there. Be careful next time." Leno nodded. Gion rolled his eyes angrily and said, "There will be no next time." Leno doesn't care. Anyway, Gion said that every time it ended, but recently, she seemed to be much more proactive than herself. Gion asked curiously, "You and Hancock, is that really the relationship?" "What relationship?" Gion rolled his eyes and said, "Didn't it be reported in the newspaper? Hancock personally admitted that you are her master?" Leno was speechless, and said, "Those newspapers are just chasing rumors, there is nothing to do." "Oh," Gion smiled and said, "I don't think it looks like it. Last September, she kissed you in public." "Have it?" Leno thought for a while. It seems that there is such a thing. It is a precious asset for young people to have elders leading them. Leno and Gion watched a battle of Kuina, and the actual combat tempered her, making her grow quickly. "The most beautiful woman in the world, tisk tisk, aren't you tempted?" "But the kiss is a normal farewell, right?" Gion's words and eyes were filled with admiration for Kuina, and he said, "In half a year, she will be able to become a teacher." Leno smiled and said, "Some things, once you have them, you won't be tempted." Then, it was photographed. Gion got up and walked out of the warm pool. You know, Gion taught Kuina not only swordsmanship but also her many experiences. That was when Hancock passed the hunter's assessment and took his tribe away from East Blue. When they were about to say goodbye, Hancock suddenly kissed him on the cheek. Ah, Kuina's early graduation is not only due to the good teaching of Gion, but also because of her own focus and hard work. What do you say? Exciting. Leave the giant mangrove. People dream of a charming rose garden in the distance, but seldom go to admire the roses blooming in front of the window. Oh, then am I the rose garden in the distance, or the roses in front of the window? Her progress is faster than I thought. Pirates with tens of millions of bounties are no longer her opponents. Chapter 109 One Piece. Lord Leno, please have a baby with me. Calm Belt. Daughter Island. The forest is lush, and there are all kinds of rare and exotic snakes on the island, accompanied by warriors from the Amazon Lily Kingdom. Along with a ship flying the blood-bought black dragon flag, it docked. Daughter's Island's man ban, with Leno's feet, set foot on this land, was broken. But only he can break it. Boa Hancock came back from East Blue last year. She also brought back a large number of scarce materials, including food, cloth, ironware, etc., as well as precious seeds. Amazon Lily will become a country of warriors, which has a great relationship with the harsh environment of Calm Belt. The cloth, ironware, food, etc. they need can only be obtained through looting. What? Money. If they want money, do they still need to rob? Money can buy it, who doesn't know? The key is no money. On Daughter's Island, the supplies that can be sold can't be sold outside at a high price, and those merchants don't accept them at all. Daughter Island's own currency, snake hair, cannot be exchanged for Pele. Their money is useless. So, just grab it. The 9 Snake Pirates was not founded by Hancock, it was created before her, and I don't know how many generations of emperors. Passed down from generation to generation, it bears the responsibility of looting materials and supplying people's lives. And because of this, Emperor of Amazon Lily, even a tyrant. As long as the strength is the strongest, it is also a good emperor who can bring back supplies. No matter how benevolent the emperor is, he is a coward who cannot support the people, so what is the difference between him and a waste? With a boat full of supplies, Hancock was cheered by the Amazon Lily warriors. When he learned that these were gifts from Leno, his popularity in Daughter's Island soared. Hancock took advantage of the situation and issued a new law. Man ban is invalid for Leno. He can freely enter and exit anywhere on Daughter Island, including Hancock's bedroom. The 9 Snake Pirates and the clansmen who came to welcome them surrounded the port completely. Watch the fun, who doesn't like it? What's more, the people here are celestial dragons. It was the one who defeated Kaido, the strongest hunter in the world. It is a big man who created Hunter Guild, single-handedly created Big News, and is well known by the world. It is benefactor who gave generously to Girl Island. Lord Leno. The tall Hancock, wearing a purple cheongsam, is very charming, and beside her is her pet Salome. In addition, there are Gloriosa, 2 snakes, 3 snakes, and female warriors such as Kikyo and Genshin as guards. Hancock saw Leno get off the boat, his blue eyes lit up. When she came to East Blue in September last year, she found that Leno was getting more and more handsome, which completely fit her aesthetic. Tall figure, strong body, short black hair, handsome to enviable, suffocating face. This is completely the image of the most perfect man in her mind, and it hits the softness deep in her heart. His strength, handsomeness, and temperament made Hancock's heart beat. Like, love it, Master Leno is the girl of my dreams. If possible, I would like to be his slave for the rest of my life, so I hope he can whip me, oh. Hancock's cheeks flushed. She couldn't help herself, and with a light leap, she jumped into Leno's arms and hung on Leno's neck. Master Leno, you finally came to see me again, I am so touched. Hancock was on the verge of weeping, and I felt sorry for him. Snake, Master Snake Princess, you have to be reserved? The female warriors of Amazon Lily looked on in amazement, and some citizens dropped their jaws in shock. Their Lady Snake actually hugged the man. However, if it's Master Leno, it's completely understandable. Why, Master Leno is getting more and more handsome. Not only handsome, but also so powerful, he is absolutely the most handsome man in the world. Hey, my good daughter-in-law and Mr. Leno have a baby. If you want to give birth, you must be the Snake Lady, right? Only the combination of the strongest and the strongest is the best. Master Leno, please pass on your excellent genes to Daughter Island. The female warriors of the 9 snakes were full of enthusiasm, with love in their eyes, as if they were eager to swallow Kainuo. Daughter Island regards strong as its beauty, and Leno's powerful power makes them covet and desire to pass it on. That's right, Master Snake Girl, please do your best. Give Leno a baby. The child of Lord Leno and Lord Sheji will definitely become the most powerful emperor in the history of Daughter Country. Hancock hugged Leno like a koala. Leno is now 287 cm tall. The talent of Gluttony Demon King absorbs the power of food and transforms it into nutrition for growth and development. However, the growth of height has been getting slower and slower, and it should have reached a peak. In this contrast, Hancock, who is 19 centimeters tall, looks petite and exquisite with his arms hooked around his neck. The blessings of the citizens behind made Hancock Shafei's cheeks feel dry and hot. She stared at Leno, her eyes were full of love, and said, "Master Leno, come and pamper my concubine." No matter what Master Leno wants to do to this concubine is willing to give birth to a child for you. Leno held Hancock's hip in one hand to keep her from falling, and the feeling in his hand was wonderful. Hancock is fully developed, with a perfect S shape of 111, 61 91st cm. If it were someone else, Hancock would have turned him into stone and been petrified by her. Leno didn't feel anything strange. He raised his other hand and patted Hancock's forehead angrily. "Let's talk about business first." "Okay, Master Leno, please order," Hancock said. Seeing that she was still hanging, Leno said, "Go down first." Hancock was reluctant to part with her, but in her bones, the fear and awe of Leno still existed. She went down obediently and stood shyly. Leno knew that Hancock might not be able to talk about things like this, so he looked at Gloriosa. "She is the wise man of Daughter's Island. I brought supplies as a reward for the last mission." Last year, Hancock brought 200 people to the hunter assessment, and a total of 158 people passed. During the inspection period, all of them passed the test. The Hunters Guild has opened up a route from East Blue to South Blue, and there is a section that crosses the Paradise section, which is full of dangers. Leno entrusted them with the task of maintaining this section. Last time, a merchant ship was assisted by pirates. They snatched it back. This hidden and dangerous route has brought huge income to the Hunter Guild in just 1 year. At the same time, it also brought Amazon Lily more harvest than the previous plunder. Strength, plus benefits. Daughter Island respects Leno so much, and does not hesitate to violate the ancestral prohibition for him. Leno said. "Also, I have 2 things to discuss." Gloriosa nodded, and said politely, "Please come to the palace, so that we can show the friendship of the landlord." Kikyo and other soldiers boarded the boat and moved the supplies brought by Leno to the island, including soybeans, rice and other grains. There is also a set of seawater purification equipment. Can be used on the ships of the Kuja pirates. Hancock and the others enthusiastically welcome Leno into the palace, and because Robin is a lady, they are allowed to follow. Along the way, Robin smiled and watched Hancock and the others show great hospitality to Leno, and silently sweated for Minister Luwell. Although Hancock doesn't seem to pay attention to Robin, Robin has developed a keen intuition through his years of fleeing. Hancock was hostile to her. That kind of hostility is like a puppy guarding food, grinning undisguisedly. This amused Robin. She thinks Leno is good, but it has nothing to do with men and women, but a touch of gratitude. Come to the Hunters Guild. She lived a safe life for 2 years without having to flee everywhere. All this was given by the man in front of her. Amazon Lily's palace. There is already a banquet set up. Have a feast. Leno explained why he came here. He came to Daughter Island to invite a few instructors with superb Haki teaching to teach in the Hunter School. For more than a year, Leno has focused on the Hunters Guild and improved the organizational structure of various departments. The real Hunter School has been built, and teachers in all aspects have become an urgent problem to be solved. Among them, there are not many experts in Haki in East Blue. Kozaburo and Koshiro were reluctant to go out because of their samurai status and worried about the trouble of CP. It is impossible for Leno to embarrass them, and then he thought of the 9 snakes on Daughter Island. Haki teaches, and the diagrams are systematic. Wanakuna's emission. Airway of the Country of Flowers. In addition, Marine created 6 styles, which is used as Haki before getting started, to temper the body and tap the limit of physical fitness. Countries in the New World have different routines. Daughter Island also has its own set of methods, which is the experience summed up from generation to generation, and it is quite efficient. Haki, which is rare for Paradise. Is it actually a power that everyone has mastered here? Visible. In terms of Haki teaching, my daughter has a lot of experience. Haki is the potential that everyone has. It sounds like you can awaken it just by exercising, and exercising. But there are quite a few people exercising in Paradise and 4 Seas, why haven't they awakened? For example, it is like a treasure locked in a safe. Just blindly destroying the safe can indeed open it, but most people can't do it. It needs a key. Different Haki teachings are different keys. Getting the key to open the safe is faster than brute force. Please teacher, it's not a big deal, Gu Luo Liu readily agreed. In addition, I will go to New World next, and I will recruit hunters who have obtained the hunter's license. New World. Gloriosa thought about it, guessed the general idea, and said, "Do you want to take advantage of the 4 Emperors' war provoked by the Red Hair Pirates, and enter New World, to seize those lands when New World is in turmoil?" Leno nodded and said, "This is a guild mission, and it will be included in the hunter's contribution file. However, the mission will be dangerous. I will conduct a strength assessment first, and only those who pass can participate. The dangers of the New World include natural disasters such as weather, sea, magnetic field, and sea monsters, as well as man-made disasters of the 4 Emperors. When Leno goes to New World this time, if he wants the Hunter Guild to take root, he will inevitably conflict with the 4 Emperors' forces. He is not afraid of the 4 emperors. He brought manpower. After laying down the territory, he will have manpower to control those islanders. I heard that I want to fight with Leno. Hancock, who was looking like an obedient girl, his eyes lit up, and said, Master Leno, I am willing. Leno nodded. Hancock would definitely go, and he was going to bring Kuina, Luwell, and Buggy with him. Let them experience the wind of the new world. Kuzan has returned to Alegia from South Blue and can ensure the safety of the headquarters. Crow needs to keep the headquarters running and can only wait for the next time. Moreover, Crow has been stationed in the Fishman Island, and has already experienced the huge difference between the Grand Line and the 4 Seas. After fighting, Leno selected 30 people, led by Hancock, to join this new world expeditionary force. Just waiting to leave tomorrow. Night time. Leno and Robin were left to stay in the palace. Robin alone. Leno was taken to Hancock's emperor's bedroom, where new quilts were laid out on a huge gauze bed. Leno scratched his head, and when he turned to leave, he saw a closed snake ring door opposite the palace. The 2 sisters, the 2 snakes and the 3 snakes, are guarding outside. Master Leno, please wait a moment. Master Snake is taking a bath. She will accompany you to sleep after the lights are turned off. The female warrior, Lan, who brought him to the 9 snake pirates, said respectfully. Looking at the closed door, Leno suddenly understood that it was the closed door of Hancock's heart. The shame of her. How did you forget that thing? For slaves, the mark branded on them is a mark of shame that will never be erased for a lifetime. That's not the same as getting a tattoo, if not erased. Hancock will always bear the shame and dare not show his true colors. She will always close herself. Leno finally found the crux and went straight to the door leading to the bathroom. Lie, Lord Leno. Dao Leno's sudden action made Lan, Snake, and San Snake panic. They wanted to stop them, but they were afraid. Leno's eyes swept over, and his Conqueror's Haki directly stunned the 3 of them, causing them to fall to the ground. He came to the huge door, put his palm on it, and pushed it lightly, and the heavy door was slowly piling inward. In the large, steaming bath, Hancock was soaking in the water, his black hair hanging down his back. She gently picked up the hot water and poured it on her fragrant shoulders. The water droplets rolled down like dew and merged with the water surface. Hancock's complexion was full of anticipation, worry, and fear, with a trace of fear permeating his eyes. Her palm, around her arm, touched her back, that imprint that she couldn't see but really existed. The pain of the branding was as deep as the bone marrow, making it hard for her to forget. Sound? Hancock jumped into the water like a frightened bird, turned his head, and scolded. Who? The mist on the water surface spread slightly. This allowed her to see the person who walked in. Her pupils shrank suddenly, and she stammered, Lie, Noen. Leno went straight to the bathtub, looked at Hancock who was huddled like an ostrich, and said lightly, Stand up. Okay. Startled, Hancock shook his head vigorously. Stand up. Leno's voice grew louder. He looked into Hancock's eyes, and his tone was undeniably firm. Hanku's 2.6-gram body trembled. She hesitated. The fear of Leno came back. Like a cowering quail, it gets up every day, from the waist up, out of the water. She had already realized something. She didn't cover herself. Her panicked eyes were full of pleading. Leno looked her in the eye. SSS class observation Haki released. Interfering with thinking, affecting thinking. Hancock, I already know what you're afraid of. Trust me, leave it to me, and I'll get rid of it. There was a glimmer of hope in Hancock's eyes, but it dimmed again, saying, It's useless. You should know that once that kind of imprint exists, it can never be erased. I have tried countless methods. Leno said calmly. Have you forgotten who I am? Hancock was taken aback for a moment, and then his beautiful eyes sparkled, and he said pleasantly, You are also celestial dragons. Leno said speechlessly. I said, I'm not celestial dragons. Yeah, okay, Leno heaven. Hancock nodded obediently, and then asked timidly, Can you really erase it? Can? Leno gave Hancock an affirmative answer, which made her very pleasantly surprised and shy, and said, Will you care? What do you care about? No, nothing. Hancock blushed and nearly slipped. She turned around, took a deep breath nervously, and slowly parted the loose long hair with her hands, revealing the Tianxianglong hoofprint on her back. Between the butterfly-like back, there is a red circle with 3 protruding claws, occupying a large area. Tianxianglong hoofprint cannot be removed, except for cutting the whole piece of skin. Even the slaves of the Murloc pirates were just changed to other marks. Leno stretched out his hand, touched it lightly, and said, Does it hurt? Hancock trembled when he heard the sound, covered his face with his hands, tears streaming down his face, and wept aloud. Will it not hurt? The pain of a lifetime? Leno caressed and asked, Does Bo hurt? Chapter 110 Sweet Fruit Awakens. Empress Style. Master Leno, I want a hug. Daughter Island. A large steaming bath. With his back to Leno, Hancock showed his Sky Dragon hoofprint to others for the first time. Covering her face and crying, she heard Leno's words. Hancock shook his head. Of course she is not afraid of pain. Carrying this kind of mark is the proof of existence that is lower than human beings, and it is the shame she fears most. Leno said, Do you believe me? Okay. Hancock wiped his tears and said, I can feel that Master Leno is different, you never thought of possessing me. Is Hancock hypersensitive because of trauma? Leno slowly pulled out open black lens bracket Muramasa close black lens bracket. The blood-colored blade reflected the water light, shining a strange light. He holds the demon knife. The non-killing reverse blade is not stained with a trace of resentment. The killing in the past was dragged into hell by Muramasa. Hancock saw the blood-colored diamond-like blade and Leno holding the knife from the shimmering light on the water. She didn't know what Leno was going to do. Leaving the back to the person holding the knife is tantamount to handing over life and death to the other party. Hancock shuddered, took a deep breath, and closed his eyes. She decides to trust Leno, even if you die by his knife. Perhaps it is also a kind of relief. Thinking of this, Hancock calmed down instead, with a touch of anticipation. Just kill me, Lord Leno. Of course Leno didn't want to kill Hancock. He squinted his eyes, stared at open black lens bracket Tianxianglong hoofprint close black lens bracket, and said lightly, Hancock, you are free, starting today, you are no longer anyone's slave, I give you the right to become a Japanese person again. Freedom? No longer a slave? Be human again? Hancock murmured. Leno's observation Haki, draped over her, resonated with her consciousness, mind, thoughts, and herself. Princess Odahime's observation Haki, to any normal person, would be awesomely powerful. Invisibly distorting thoughts and thinking, even the arrogant celestial dragons are changed by her will. How not to be scary, yes, you are free, Leno said to Hancock, swinging the knife lightly. The bloody knife light was so fast that no afterimage could be seen, it cut open Hancock's back, and a trace of blood flowed down. Leno took off the layer of skin with Tianxiang dragon's hoofprint. Then he cut his palm and sprinkled blood on his bloody back. Infection. The talent emits 29 rays of light, and, Muramasa, the demon sword shines on each other, shining on the wound. His blood seeps into it. The cut wound healed at a speed visible to the naked eye, forming a smooth and flawless beautiful back. Infection. After the talent evolves, both physically and psychologically, it will be stronger than before. But not enough. Fear and shame cannot be masked. Strong as Fisher Tiger at heart. The one who dared to stand against the celestial dragons and free countless slaves. He is also the man who leads the sun pirates who have been stamped with the sun mark, and chases the murlocs free in the sea. It is also impossible to forget this shame until death. But how could the three Bo-Ya sisters, who shuddered when they thought of the past, do it? Even if the mark is eliminated, or the 9 snake seal is stamped. What others see is smooth skin, or the logo of the pirates. And what did their sisters see? It is still the bloody, Tianxianglong hoofprint, and the faces of celestial dragons with terrifying smiles. Others can't see it, but they can't, because they know it, it's there. Like an invisible, intangible, lingering ghost, always hiding in the corner and peeping at himself. When Leno's conquerors broke Hancock's defenses and reminded her of the past, it was the horror. Leno turns Hancock around. Spread out the cut bloody skin for her to see, the mark on it made her pupils widen. Hancock, behold, I have unchained you, you are no longer a slave, you are a man. An upright person with his head held high, Leno exerted psychological hints on her, and the Haki in his hand rubbed against the air, creating flames that burned the skin. Open black lens bracket sky dragon hoofprint close black lens bracket with the burning, together with the skin, it turned to ashes in Hancock's eyes. The light of the flame was still reflected in her eyes. That light is a warm, fiery flame. Filling her pupils, dispelling the enveloping darkness and coldness, the warmth slowly enveloped her, and shed hot tears. I am free? She covered her mouth and looked at Leno. Well, free. You are no longer anyone's slave, you are yourself. Hancock burst into tears, and then threw himself into Leno's arms, crying loudly with a, wow. The cry was exceptionally loud and deafening. Her, Tianxianglong hoofprint, was engraved by celestial dragons, putting her in eternal shackles. Now, it is also, celestial dragons. Help her take it down, tell her that she is free, and Tuan is the real person who needs to tie the bell to untie the bell. Only people with the same status can do this with prestige and persuasion. Hancock keeps courting Leno. In fact, she was looking forward to getting relief from Leno. Leno saw Hancock crying like a child, venting his pent-up grievances, pain, and sadness to his heart's content. Only when you know her at this moment can you really let go and walk out of the past. Leno didn't say anything more, caress her hair and make her cry. Outside the palace, 9 snake warriors such as Genshin and Platycodon. Hearing that Hancock will serve the bed tonight, everyone stays awake, and came out of the palace curiously to listen to the movement. Hancock suddenly let out such a loud cry that they all looked at each other. That, then? Genshin was curious. Huh? How would I know? It should be very painful, right? It's almost like being cut. Hey, is it painful to cut with a knife? Master Shiji is the strongest warrior on the island, so it must be more painful than cutting with a knife. The sturdy 9 snake warriors discussed whether it hurts to cut a knife, or what Hancock is doing now hurts more. Hancock's heart-piercing cries lasted for half an hour, which made them shudder. This is too painful, isn't it? The idea of having a child has been shaken. Kikyo gritted his teeth. Damn it, Master Leno, I don't know how to be gentler, but to make Master Snake G cry like this. Holding the knife, she was furious, ready to go in and see what was going on. Long Dan and the others hurriedly stopped them. No, wait, Lord Snake will be angry. I read that the pain won't be too long. Listen, is the crying of Lady Snake getting quieter? Huh? It seems to be, it's gone. Be quiet, there's no sound, is it over? Everyone looks at me, and I look at you, I could just hear it. At this time, it was quiet, but I didn't get used to it. The crying stopped. Hancock seemed tired from crying, and fell asleep in Leno's arms. There are tears in the corners of the eyes. There is a faint smile on the corner of the mouth. Not that fake smile, but a genuine, safe smile. Compared to before, when Hancock was fearful, and courteous to himself, Leno liked it better now. Leno cupped Hancock's legs and picked her up. Get out of the bathroom. Lan, the second snake, and the third snake have already woken up, watching Leno put Hancock on the bed, looking at each other and leaving quietly. Leno tucks Hancock up. Hancock seemed to be aware of it, opened his eyes slightly, and took Leno's hand, like a child acting like a baby. Master Leno, stay tonight. Okay? Hancock's eyes were watery, exuding a unique beauty, even Leno couldn't stand it. Hancock must not know that the rejuvenated temperament seems to have brought her charm to a higher level. A relief, a complete release. Leno faintly felt that just now, Hancock's sweet fruit had awakened, a very special fluctuation. In the world of One Piece, whether the devil fruit is strong or not depends mainly on whether the capable person can develop and mine it. As a demon fruit power, you have to use your imagination and develop your own abilities in order to achieve the goal of becoming stronger. However, devil fruit has a higher realm. Once reached, you can get a huge power zone. This way of getting stronger quickly is the awakening of devil fruit. Awakening of devil fruit cannot be obtained through training. It's an opportunity. For example, some people exercise every day but do not wake up, and some people wake up after sleeping. Therefore, the awakening of devil fruit is either difficult or simple, mainly depends on luck. Hancock got rid of the darkness, vented his pain, and sweetness gushed out of his heart, and Yi Ping triggered the switch of awakening. Leno doesn't know the ability of the sweet fruit to awaken. In the original plot, Hancock has not yet achieved the awakening. But at this time, her charm, temperament, words, and eyes are everywhere sweet, making people unable to help but be intoxicated. Even the surrounding things are affected. In many cases, the awakened ability user will be deprived of a lot of personality. The awakening of Paramisha's ability can affect things other than the person with the ability. After awakening, Zone can greatly improve recovery ability and combat effectiveness, but there will be side effects if the awakening fails. As for Logia, it has the ability to permanently change the landscape, and if it fails to awaken, it will be assimilated by the elements and die. The fruit of Hancock is Paramisha, and only then do the properties that affect things appear. For example, Luffy's Nika fruit awakens, and even Kaido turns into rubber. Hancock was in a state of unconscious awakening at this time, and she didn't realize it herself, and special ripples filled the air. Leno's armament Haki is formless and substanceless, but resists the power released by the awakening of the sweet fruit. However, this kind of power does not contain malice. After touching Leno, he is like a gentle and docile cat. Leno found it interesting. He took off the knife, lay down next to Hancock, and got close to her awakening. Master Leno, give me a hug. Hancock stretched out his hand and hummed softly. She has no clothes on her body. When the skin is awakened, it presents a pink color, and there are strange lines on the body, which are similar to sweet fruits. Leno reached out to hug her. Hancock hung on him like a koala, and kissed her lightly. I like Master Leno. Hancock sniffed Leno's breath, feeling an inexplicable sense of security. She burrowed into her arms and fell asleep, early in the morning. Leno came outside and saw Robin training. After getting the historical text from Murloc Forest, Leno originally wanted to ask Robin for translation. Think about it later. It is better to ask for others than to ask for yourself. So Leno abused Robin once, and got an S-level, translation, talent from her. After Robin was abused, he was very unconvinced, so he went to Luwell for special training in private, and wanted to try with Leno. Then try and die. Leno directly hit her with one hand, making her realize the gap. Because Kuzan went to South Blue, Leno was worried that there would be too many people in the headquarters, so he put her beside him. Robin's flower fruit has great potential and many things to develop. It's just that she had been on the run before and didn't have time to devote herself to cultivation. Moreover, people from all over the world have a misunderstanding about devil fruit, thinking that it is a cursed ability. Robin was considered a freak because of flower fruit when he was a child. For these reasons, she is weak against the power of flower fruit. If she can train her weapon color to SS level and wrap it around those limbs made by flower fruit. Leno shook his head, unrealistic. This is really not to say that practice is practiced. Haki is indeed the potential that everyone has, but the upper limit of potential is different. Some people's upper limit is A level, and when they reach the limit of A level, it is as difficult as reaching the sky if they want to break through. And although more people have the upper limit of A level, they can actually show around B level. Robin's talent lies more in knowledge. Everyone has different talents, and some talents cannot be achieved no matter how hard you try. Robin still has room to improve. She seemed to be aware of it, looked at Leno, thought that there was something wrong, and walked over. It's too boring for you to practice alone, I'll train you specially. Leno flexes his muscles. Robin's face froze. Is Leno's special training a special training? That's abuse. At the worst time, she was sore all over and lay in bed for 2 days. Although the effect of the special training was remarkable, it really made her unbearable. The book says that the man should be very tired just after the exchange. Why doesn't the president seem to be affected? Robin has a question mark on his forehead. 040. Does the exchange of protein also have the effect of increasing physical strength? See Circle Calendar June 1513. The flames of war in the New World continue to burn. Shanks and Red Hair pirates once again launched an impact on the 4 emperors. This attracted a group of big pirates, and they became restless. The territorial waters of Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido were attacked one after another, filled with smoke and flames of war. World Government 5 Elders is concerned and worried that this change will affect the whole world. So he ordered Sengoku Admiral of Naval Headquarters to lead the fleet to New World to support the G1 branch. This branch is located in the sea area controlled by 4 emperors, and the security and defense are very important. The current commander of the branch is Vice Admiral. He is one of the Vice Admirals quickly promoted by Naval Headquarters after Kuzan left, and he is regarded as Admiral's successor together with Gion. Originally, his hope of succession was greater than that of Gion, so he was transferred to the G1 branch, with even greater expectations. But after Gion got the magnetic fruit, he broke his upper limit, his strength improved rapidly, and the situation was reversed. Welcome Sengoku Admiral. Gake smiled. Today's Sengoku is said to be Admiral, but he has actually fulfilled his duties as a Marshal, and Kong has basically retreated behind the scenes. Just wait for next year's World Summit to propose a change of Marine, and Sengoku is the rightful new Marshal. At the same time, the new 3 Admiral will also make a collective appearance. Inside Marine, they all support this, and only the top people have retired or been promoted. Only then will there be a seat vacant for the people below. Sengoku nodded to Kaji. Without too many greetings, he said directly, "How is the development of the 4 emperors? Please go to the meeting room. Jiaji can stand out from the crowd of Vice Admirals and become Admiral's candidate. Is it Sha Chang's character?" Sengoku knows that the new 3 Admirals have basically been confirmed. Although Kuzan left, he left a lot of inheritance. But anyone who underestimates him will definitely suffer. Not to mention handsome, at least not Oda. Gion has sprung up suddenly, and she already has the support of those generals, plus the influence of Crane Vice Admiral. In the original plot, Buggy became 7 warlords of the sea, started a business here, and established a pirate dispatch company. Leno has planted a flag on the island and will serve as the Hunters Guild branch station in New World. At the same time, Leno led 3 ships to an island in the New World, Kale Bali. The generals came to the meeting room, and Jiaji's adjutant unfolded the map and explained the changes in New World's forces. Without a 300 cm, or close to this height, how to stand together with the other 2 admirals. If there is no accident, Gion will become the first female celestial general since the establishment of the world government Marine 800 years ago. Comprehensive consideration, Gion is more suitable than Jiaji. He squinted and looked like a comedian. Buggy and the Roger pirates came to this island to rest and refresh. In terms of combat power, the addition is much higher than the previous Gion, and he suffers from height and appearance. Marine Admiral is the facade of Marine and represents the image of Marine. Kaji looks wretched, wearing brown clothes, Marine's coat of justice, and a pair of clogs on his feet. Open black lens bracket. Only the height is not enough, which is really flawed. Chapter 111 The World's Strongest Royal Group. Whitebeard. Sons, it's time to set sail. New World. Kaye Bali. Hoo. The flag of the Hunter Guild fluttered in the wind. Leno stepped on the whirlwind, stood in the sky 8,000 meters high, looked down, and estimated the approximate area of the island. Kale Bali has a rhombus shape as a whole, with a width of about 140 kilometers from east to west and a distance of about 80 kilometers from north to south. Its terrain is high in the east and low in the west, with mountains running through it. Most of the island is mountainous. There are also several complete cone-shaped volcanic peaks. Only the southern and northern coastal areas have some narrow flat lands. The island is beautifully landscaped. The island has a variety of landforms, and the coast and mountains coexist. An island not suitable for survival, but suitable for living. 2 freshwater rivers flowed down from the highest peak, meandering along the terrain, and raised a Kalai kingdom. But the kingdom perished 100 years ago, and only some temples and relics are left. Buggy said that the Roger pirates had come here, searched for the historical text, and stayed here for a while. At that time, the island was occupied by barbarians. After the opening of the Great Pirate Era, a large number of pirates entered New World, vying for territory one after another, occupying the west king of the island. The flames of war spread to Kale Bali. There was a war between a group of pirates and an aboriginal tribe. As for the ending, today, the savages are gone. Instead, it is a pirate town, located in the northern area of the island, with freshwater rivers flowing through it. The pirates are here. Live a happy life of enjoying in peacetime and looting when you are short of money. Some refugees or fugitives, as well as criminals, as well as people who were looted by pirates, took shelter here. Until Leno and his party arrive, they defeated the ruler of the island. A pirate group belonging to the Whitebeard Grand Fleet. Incorporate the town into the Hunters Guild rule. We burned Whitebeard's flag, and we must face the wrath of the Whitebeard pirates next. In the small town, in the tallest 3-story building. The people Leno brought to New World sat at the long table. Kuina, Luwell, and the people who followed Leno the longest are confidants. Hancock, head of the Daughters Island Hunter Division. This time brought 30 elites from the 9 Snakes. Sharkstar, the head of the Hunter branch of the Fishman Island. They also brought 30 elite Murlocs, among Lucci, Vanoka, and East Blue Hunters, the outstanding performers. Lead a hunter team respectively, each with 20 people. Robin wasn't here. Leno let her stay on the boat and guard the ship. Buggy didn't come either. I heard that he got mixed up with a group of people who shared the same interests and wanted to find the Golden Land. For Leno, these people in front of him are enough. All he needs them to do is to manage and guard the occupied territory, and to feel the enthusiasm of New World. Leno folded his arms. Luwell was talking about the Whitebeard pirates. In the New World, Edward Newgate's territory is the largest. Secondly, there is the Toto Land Kingdom of Big Mom, then Kaido, and finally the Old Captain. The Whitebeard pirates were founded 20 years ago. Besides the Golden Lion, it was one of the few pirate forces that could compete with the Roger pirates. After Roger's death, the Whitebeard pirates headed by Edward Newgate became one of the 4 emperors of New World. It is reported that there are more than 1,600 people in the Roger pirates, divided into 16 teams, and each team has a person with extraordinary strength as the captain. The position of the captain of the second team is vacant. In addition, under the Whitebeard team, there are 43 affiliated pirate groups scattered in New World. These pirate groups, each controlling at least one island, surround Whitebeard like a huge hive. Kalai Bali is one of them, controlled by the Bagley pirates. There is no doubt that the current Whitebeard pirate group, at its peak, is recognized as the strongest 4 emperors group. Not to mention open black lens bracket Whitebeard close black lens bracket Edward Newgate, who is known as the strongest man in the world, is the one who can challenge Kaido one-on-one. 16 squadrons alone, 43 large fleets, and a pirate army of over 20,000 people are very scary. Whitebeard's power spreads all over the world. These people are not easy to provoke, Sharkstar said with some worry. Although Leno defeated Kaido, the Whitebeard pirates have also defeated them, and more than once. If it's a heads-up match between Leno and Whitebeard, Sharkstar isn't worried, but who's said to be singled out? The battle for hegemony among the strong in the New World, even Kaido, is a struggle between 2 forces. Could it be that Leno wants to single out a Whitebeard pirate group? Impossible. This is fate backquote. Although Vanoka has a poker face, he is a little excited to be able to play against the Whitebeard pirates. Edward Bond is a man who once competed with Kong Kong, Roger, Golden Lion, Garp, Sengoku, etc. Legend has it that if Whitebeard hadn't been interested in becoming One Piece, Roger's road to becoming king would have been more difficult. Lucci looked stern and speechless. Their mission was to lurk for a long time, maybe 5 years, 10 years, or even longer. So the last time the Leno vs Kaido battle, the 5 elders didn't expose them. With an efficient task completion rate, Lucci's hunter license was upgraded to B level in just over a year. After completing this task, he will be able to upgrade to a level, reaching the highest level that normal tasks can achieve. Kuina also had no words. Saboti's sharpening made her sharper and stronger than before. Whitebeard? Hancock is wearing a cheongsam, hugging his chest, with long legs raised, and the straight lines outlined by the legs are slender and powerful. After walking out of the dark past, her personality has changed a lot. She is no longer so arrogant, and she is a little more rational. But hearing their worries, Hancock was very dissatisfied, and there was a kind of strength and confidence in his blue eyes. Her tone was disdainful. So what, as long as Whitebeard dares to come, Lord Leno will definitely beat them to pieces. Yes, Leno Tionda, finished. Hancock looked at Leno with a pair of beautiful eyes, full of affection, tenderness, shyness and timidity. That look of falling in love made Luwell quite upset. From the moment the two met, they began to fight tit for tat. On strength. Devil Fruit awakened, Hancock with Conqueror's Haki is undoubtedly better. Even after 2 years of special training, Luwell has awakened 2 kinds of Haki, the armed color and the knowledge color. But the chances of winning against Hancock are slim. However, in terms of status, Luwell surpasses Hancock, and Luwell is also the veteran of the Hunters Guild. Leno's trust in Luwell made Hancock sour and gritted his teeth. Luwell raised her eyebrows like a knife, pursed her lips like a blade, and squinted. The enemy is all for Leno. What are you doing? Come on. Concubine? Concubine is of course helping Lord Leno to kill enemies. She is better than a certain woman, and I am not yet skilled in Haki. Hancock raised his chin slightly, and proudly confronted Luwell. Sparks of light flashed in the eyes of the two of them. Seeing that the two were about to quarrel again, Leno had a headache. It was the biggest mistake for them to meet each other. Leno coughed lightly, stopped them, looked at the crowd, and said calmly, "I will deal with the Whitebeard pirates." The words were plain, but that kind of self-confidence reassured everyone immediately, as if there was a mountain to block the wind and rain. What you have to do is to replace the Bagley pirates and stabilize the situation in Kale Bali. Leno looked at Lu Chi and Van Oka. You two and your respective teams are responsible for the security of the island. Pirate Town currently has about 2,000 residents, among them are victims, criminals, and pirates. There are many people who are closely related to the Bagley pirates, so we should pay attention to distinguishing them and be more careful. Yes, it is good. Lu Chi and Van Oka nodded. Leno said coldly. Those who want to take advantage of the opportunity to cause damage can be killed after verification, no mercy. The two didn't have the slightest objection to this. A future CPO boss, a future sniper under Blackbeard, both have black hearts. If they didn't kill all the people, they were considered kind. Leno picked the two of them to do this job because he knew that none of the people in Pirate Town was good. In a town made up of pirates, who will be the good guy? Elder, either criminals or pirates, or old, woman? When they kill, they don't distinguish whether you are a man or a woman. Man? Not to mention, there is no arable land on the island. Where does food and drink come from? Grab it. Child. The reason why it is precious to get out of the mud without being stained is because few people can do it. Many children grew up watching adults plunder and kill. How can they keep their hearts pure? Some children's evil is more terrible than adults. If you want to deter these people, no matter what kindness or influence, it doesn't work. It's better to let them be in awe and fear. I believe that Lu Chi and Van Oka can accomplish this goal very well. The two were straightforward, got up and left. Sharkstar, you and your Murloc team are in charge of patrolling the nearby waters. Okay, President. After experience, Sharkstar became much calmer. Compared with humans, Murlocs in the sea have obvious advantages. Patrol under the water surface, safe and hidden. Mionzumi has guarded the waters near Alegia very well, and expelled many sea kings who accidentally broke in. With his pure and innocent character, he got Uda's friendship, one big and one small, and they became good friends. Leno told Sharkstar. Beware of islanders destroying the waterway or approaching by strange ships. Okay, sir. Shark left. Hancock couldn't wait, blinked her beautiful eyes, and said, Master Leno, where is my concubine? There are many ruins on the island, there may be dangerous creatures, you let Jendon and the others go explore and eliminate the danger. The female warriors of the 9 snakes are natural hunters. They are good at fighting in the jungle, and they are like ducks in water on the island. Leno said again. That's right. In addition, after drawing the topographic map of the island, I will pass it on to the designer of Glass Ball Island. Absolutely gets the job done, Hancock said, but didn't move. She wants to see what tasks Leno will give Luwell, and if she follows Leno, she will definitely not leave. Luwell, you and Kuina, leading the logistics team, are responsible for the population statistics of Pirate Town. Build the population information file. Those who don't cooperate will be expelled from the island directly, and those who rebel will be handed over to Lu Chi and Van Oka. Okay. Luwell and Kuina nodded. They also go out to work? Hancock was satisfied. She stood up, took a step, turned back, and kissed Leno's cheek, leaving a lip mark. Hancock's mouth shape is extremely beautiful. The lips are moderately thick, moist and shiny, and after the kiss, he glanced at Luwell provocatively. Luwell's eyes were filled with horror, and she stared back. With a cold and pretty face, not to be outdone, she kissed her deeply. Leno had a big head, so he slapped each other, and said angrily, Go to work. If you two continue to make trouble, go back to your respective houses. Seeing that Leno didn't seem to be scaring them, Hancock and Luwell snorted coldly after looking at each other, and then promised that there would be no more trouble. Kuina watched curiously, eating melons. She is 14 years old and has Gion teaching. Some things, already understood. However, Kuina doesn't care about the relationship between men and women. She only has the way of the sword in her heart, but if you want to choose one to reproduce, it is naturally Leno. I don't know what Luwell and Hancock are fighting for. Hunter Guild. Entered Kale Bali Island. Leno did not hide or tuck it in, and the news spread quickly. Kaye Bali. Kingdom of Darius Rosa. When the new king Doflamingo got the news, he laughed loudly. La-cha-cha-cha, that guy is finally here. In the turbulent new world, another prehistoric crocodile has come, chatting. Is he eyeing Whitebeard? Doflamingo smiled sinisterly, and said, Tell Kaido the news, maybe. At this time, Toribol came in from the outside and said, Dover, our weapon factory has been built. Shi. Those toys will love their new home. Let's sell our weapons to the world. Mariejoy. 5 elders got information on CP9. Leno, he went to New World too? Move Whitebeard's territory? It's just right, let them be together. The 5 elders were not surprised but delighted when Leno entered the New World. A place like New World, where monsters are everywhere, is where he should go. It's best to take root there. Leno has been wandering around East Blue, Paradise, and South Blue, making them fearful that he will suddenly cause trouble. Fortunately, since that war, Leno is more cautious, a lot more low-key. This made 5 elders heave a sigh of relief, but at the same time, he was faintly worried that Leno had already fought Tiantian indirectly. His low profile is out of fear, but also in the accumulation of new strength, waiting for his next comeback. Does Marijoy have a chance? Master Im's strength is recovering? Breakthrough in Vegapunk research. Giving guide to Kaido is another attempt that Kaido will invest in, man-made devil fruit. 5 elders feel much more relieved. Leno grows up, but also grows alone. How can it compare to them? Open black lens bracket Hunter Guild close black lens bracket. Apart from Leno and Kuzan, there are not many powerful characters, right? It's more beneficial for us to find a way to fight Leno and Whitebeard, the bald 5 elders planned. No, with Whitebeard's character, if he hurt his, Li Wang's, family, he will definitely fight with Leno. Bearded 5 elders judge with confidence. Boom. In the cloudy sea area, the waves were churning, thunder flashed, and then the sound of thunder was deafening. Moby Dick. The wind is blowing. Father, your body is facing that guy, Marco said worriedly. Yes, father, leave it to us, let's solve it. Beasta and Joes echoed, also worried. They also received word from Kale Bali and confirmed that the station captain Bagley had been killed. The captains of Bagley and other large ship regiments used to be members of the Whitebeard pirates, and later became independent one after another. Although these pirate groups are not affiliated with the Whitebeard pirate group, they usually operate independently. But they all adore open black lens bracket Whitebeard close black lens bracket Edward Newgate, and will call him Daddy. Whenever Whitebeard has something to do, the captains will lead the pirate group and come to help. At the same time, the Whitebeard pirates will also take care of them, forming the largest pirate group in the New World. Gu la la la, my body is fine at all, don't worry. Edward Newgate, who had just finished the infusion, didn't care, and grabbed his long-handled sword. He stood up and walked to the bow, his shoulders down his back, and there was an obvious burn scar. This scar made Mal painful. Whitebeard, who never turned his back to an enemy, blocked that attack with his back in order to save him. And not long ago, Whitebeard, who was obviously healthy, suddenly fainted after drinking, which scared them a lot. According to the doctor's diagnosis, Whitebeard was left with too many injuries due to fighting in his early years, coupled with his year-round alcoholism. It was okay when he was young, but when he got older, those injuries would torture him like tarsal maggots every year. If it is an ordinary opponent, Margao and the others don't care. But this time the opponent is Leno, who defeated Kaido. His strength is obvious to all. Whitebeard looked at the sea, undiminished pride, raised his knife and shouted, "Sons, it's time to set sail." Chapter 112 Shanks Road to Becoming Emperor, Showdown with the Whitebeard Pirates. See Circle Calendar July 1513, New World. This year is not a peaceful year. From March, the Red Hair Pirates took to sea again to defeat Ochaku, the cadre of Captain John, one of the 4 emperors. Following the fiasco of 1511, the two sides once again clashed at sea. After nearly 2 years of training, the overall strength of the Red Hair Pirates has been raised to a higher level, which actually makes Captain John helpless. However, Shanks didn't want another death of his partner, so he didn't go into a full-scale war with Captain John. The sporadic battles between the two sides took place in different sea areas. Shanks played guerrilla warfare. Every attack will cause damage to the opponent without hurting oneself, cutting it bit by bit. Shanks did this because he considered that the two sides had a large gap in numbers, and if they fought directly, even if they won, it would be a miserable victory. After all, Captain John was once a high cadre of the Rocks Pirates and inherited part of their legacy. He is notorious, participated in the Battle of the Valley of the Gods, surrounded by a team composed of Ochaku, Silver Axe and others. They occupy the pirate paradise, Hive Island, and the total number of each ship group has reached about 3,000 people. Shanks' strategy is the strongest way for many big pirates in New World to survive after challenging the 4 emperors. The enemy advances and retreats, divides and wipes out, weakens the vital forces surrounding the 4 emperors, and then waits for an opportunity to capture the king and kill the general. Or unite with other big pirates, form an alliance, and fight together. Luffy and his gang used similar routines, tried and tested. Everyone can see that Captain John is getting old, and facing the impact of newcomers, he is obviously powerless. In May, Captain John also personally dispatched to encircle and exterminate the Red Hair Pirates. Then it fails. He retreated to the Hive Island, but did not dispatch any more. Unmoved by Shanks' provocation. A posture waiting for you to hit me. Captain John's intention is obvious. Either you, Shanks, come to Hive Island to fight me, or don't jump. To be frank, Kaido, Big Mom, and Whitebeard, who are also 4 emperors, look down on this scoundrel. Although they used to be members of the Rocks Pirates, Captain John at that time was known for his insidiousness and greed for money. The Rocks Pirates were defeated in the Valley of the Gods, and the members went their separate ways. Only Captain John returned to the B-Island factory. He got the treasure of rocks, recruited Ochaku, Silver Axe, and got a group of Rocks crew to follow. Of the 3 Whitebeards, who didn't become the 4 emperors by fighting with 1 knife and 1 punch? Only him. It relies on treasures to win people's hearts. Facing the shrinking Captain John, Shanks was not in a hurry for a decisive battle, he was waiting for a good opportunity. Because New World not only has Captain John but also Kaido, Big Mom Whitebeard. They're all from the Rocks Pirates. 553 Shanks is not worried about Captain John's comeback, but is afraid that the other 3 emperors will take this opportunity to attack him. In addition, there are not only Shanks, but also the great pirates who covet the position of 4 emperors. So Shanks keeps creating records, in order to encourage other pirates and let those guys start to end. The more chaotic the New World is, the better it will be for them to keep the other 3 emperors and other pirates in check. Don't forget, there are Marine, World Government. Will they intervene? As predicted, the muddy water he stirred attracted another monster. Leno, the president of Hunters Guild, entered New World, attacked and occupied Kale Bali. The Whitebeard pirates are on the move. New World Resurrection War, the competition of 4 emperors' powerful monsters. Beckman smiled, smoking a cigarette. I knew, Leno and Hunter Guild are not willing to stay in East Blue, he will come to New World. The arrival of Leno in Shanks, Beckman's deduction master. They trained on the island, not only physically, but also strategically. The two made detailed and careful plans through continuous simulated offense and defense. This is one of the reasons for their success. After fighting Kaido, Leno got the Fishmen Island first. Then Paradise, expanding to South Blue. Judging from his pace, the next step must be New World, West Blue, North Blue. And he got the Fishmen Island, probably to prepare for entering the New World. Why? Leno is waiting for an opportunity to participate in the New World campaign, and we have created it for him. Now, he has also created for us, the opportunity we have been waiting for. Usopp laughed and said, now that Whitebeard is restrained by Leno, Kaido and Bigmom don't dare to leave their territory easily, right? That's right, that's the guy who defeated Kaido in the heads up, how could they not be nervous? The appearance of Leno is undoubtedly the best opportunity for Red Hair Pirates to win a decisive battle with Captain John. The pressure on the crew dropped sharply and they all laughed. Thanks Leno. Next time we meet, buy him a drink. Huh? Still drinking? As long as you don't fight, it's really stressful to face that kind of monster? What are you afraid of? Do we have any enmity with the Hunter Guild? Maybe we will become allies. Shanks laughed and scratched his head, feeling itchy all the time. Lucky Roo was tearing at the bones, his body was getting fatter, and he grinned. Go ahead, Shanks. The eyes of the others all looked at Shanks. Shanks relaxed his smile, CJCB, said. Well, it's time to settle the grievances between us. The crew is solemn. Behind them is the tombstone of the dead partner. The grievances mentioned by Shanks are not only this. There were also those who were killed by Captain John in the Valley of the Gods, including his parents. In the sea breeze, the flag of the Beasts pirates fluttered. There were not many people on board. Open black lens bracket Beasts close black lens bracket Kaido. One of the 3 new disasters, open black lens bracket Drought close black lens bracket Jack. There is another person, Kaido's daughter, Ghost Princess, Yamato, referred to as Mieba. The rest of the minions are in charge of sailing the boat. Kaido was sitting on a large chair, holding a hip flask, with a distinct, scar on his chest. Because of this scar, I heard that Kaido got a nickname in Wano Kuni, King of Rice Ghost. His left leg was fitted with a prosthetic leg, and a 3-edged knife shaped like a stab was cast by a Wano Kuni swordsmith. Said to be a knife, it is more like a super enlarged version of a military stab, with a 3-edged blade, extending from the limb and tightening downward. The ground is extremely sharp and can easily pierce through steel. It needs Kaido's Haki to control it so as not to damage the ship. After the fight with Leno, Kaido's mace was lost on the red line and had to be reforged. His new mace was the same style as the previous one, only heavier and with sharper protrusions that were more piercing. Kaido did not rename it, it is still called Open Black Lens Bracket Bajiji Close Black Lens Bracket. Kaido took a sip of his wine and laughed loudly. Wororo, that guy Leno has finally come to New World. Wano Kuni is closed to the outside world, but Kaido keeps in touch with the outside world, including Doflamingo. Doflamingo stole Doris Rosa and came to New World, mainly to discuss arms cooperation with Kaido. Doing business in New World is not covered by the 4 emperors, and it is easy to stall. Whitebeard likes to have sons. Big Mom likes to collect husbands of all ethnic groups. Captain John is no more. Doflamingo picks and chooses, and finally finds that Kaido of the Beasts is the most like a normal pirate. Kaido took a fancy to Doflamingo's influence in the underground world, and the 2 sides cooperated happily. Thinking of the flamingos who were born with bad seeds, he looked at his daughter more. Headache. As a member of the Ghost Clan, she doesn't need power to dominate others, but she actually wants to live in peace with humans? If it wasn't his own, he would have slapped him to death. Blame Odin, and Leno, it's too late to practice the trumpet again. Kaido's kidneys were aching, he picked up the flagon. Tun tun tun. After a few sips of wine, Kaido was slightly depressed. He is quite accommodating to his daughter, even if she idolizes her nemesis Kazuki Odin. And claiming to be a man. Although Kaido taught her many times, she finally compromised, not only obeying her choice, but also calling her son. Hey, father's love. That is daughter. If it were a real son, 8 fastings would break 7 or 8 roots. Kaido put down the jug, and asked Yamato strangely, hey, silly son, why do you have to come out together? To prevent her from getting mixed up with the Wano Kuni samurai, Kaido imprisoned her on Oni Island. But before he came out, Yamato found him and said to go to sea with him. Kaido was startled. Didn't she refuse to go to sea with herself because of Odin's death? Kaido thought it was a good change and took her with him. With a mace on his shoulder, Yamato said with bright eyes, I want to see the guy who beat you. I want to worship him as a teacher and learn how to defeat you. Kaido. You are really filial and powerful, otherwise, why don't you go back? Kaido regrets taking her out. Kingdom of Todo Land. Cake Island, Mom, Katakuri, my best son, bring my tea party invitation and give it to Nuo. Charlotte Linlin sang, and a beautiful invitation flew into Katakuri's pocket. Yes, Mom. Katakuri got up and went to the palace. The ship is ready and docked at the port, together with Katakuri, Smoothie, Daifuku and others. The storm set off by Shanks not only targeted the Hive Island, but also swept the entire New World. The forces of Big Mom, Kaido, and Whitebeard have all been impacted. Those big pirates living in the cracks between the 4 emperors, like sharks smelling the blood, bit wildly. Not only the 4 emperors, those living in the New World, but also other kingdoms and forces are also in trouble. The rulers have a headache. The flames of war are burning, and the flames are everywhere. But careerists everywhere are cheering, seeing opportunities and hope from the muddy water. Shanks can. Why can't we, little ones, go and claim the 4 emperors? Don't worry, after the decisive battle between the old captain and Shanks, we will clean up the territory, ha ha ha. One Piece, it must be mine. Except for those who aim at the position of 4 emperors and want to become One Piece, there are also those who are indifferent to these. They have their own goals and plans, and they sneer at those who follow the wind and follow the trend. This is true for Doflamingo, Lock Doll, etc. West Blue. Huge dockyard shipbuilding company. It is good at building huge warships and is favored by the Titans. Once built the Thriller bark, which is the 7 waters of Neng and Grand Line. Shipyards on a par with capitals. After 2 years, a huge city of gold was finally built. Tezzolo opened his hands, as if embracing this huge ship that fused his golden fruit ability. Grand Tessero. Tezzolo laughed triumphantly. In addition to building this golden city, Tezzolo has done nothing in the past 2 years. Under the network of Doflamingo, he opened casinos all over the world and controlled some casinos. Then I have contacts with royal families and rich people all over the world, and even do business with celestial dragons. This is Tezzolo's opinion. It seems to be equal to celestial dragons, but in fact celestial dragons only regard him as a tool to make money. Tezzolo went from being a slave to the present, full of ambition. I am the one who wants to be the god of this world. There is nothing money can't buy, and people without money can't do anything. I want to use money to dominate the world. A guy without money will accomplish nothing, only be dominated. The world's largest entertainment city is about to set sail. The war in the New World is imminent. Moby Dick. Edward Newgate stood at the bow of the boat, holding open black lens bracket Kong Yunki close black lens bracket, looking at the islands that appeared on the sea. Only the 6 captains including Margao and Bista came with the boat, and the rest of the captains such as Joes and Sack did not dispatch. They also need to protect other islands and sea areas to avoid accidents. Dear. The relationship between father and son, like a family, is the bond that maintains the Whitebeard pirates. Back then, the Rocks pirates were defeated by Gold D. Roger and Monkey D. Garp in the Canyon of Gods, and the team disbanded, too. The members began to gather newcomers and develop their own forces. Edward Newgate established the Whitebeard pirates to take in homeless people at sea as crew members. But he is not interested in being the One Piece, he just wants a sea family and lives like a family. Therefore, when the news of the Bagley pirates' demise came out, Edward Newgate set off without hesitation. On the one hand, he wants to seek justice for Bagley to protect other ships from other pirate groups. If he doesn't fight back, no indication, it not only destroys the bond that maintains the team relationship, but also sends a weak signal to the outside world, causing internal and external troubles. On the other hand, Edward Newgate also realized that his body was about to fail. He hopes to fight another hardy battle while he is still at the peak. Leno is undoubtedly a strong opponent, in the waves. The volcano on the deserted island is still emitting thick smoke. Grand Line, especially New World, has not been really conquered so far, even Roger the One Piece. The sea area he has traveled is only a part of the Grand Line. Magnetic field disorder, severe and extreme weather and other reasons make exploration more difficult. The sea still holds many secrets, scattered with islands that no one knows about. Many islands can only be reached by lifeguards. The Moby Dick docks. There was already a ship docked, flying the flag of the Hunters Guild. The breeze blew and the sleeves of the clothes fluttered. Leno, Kuina, Hancock, Luwell, Lucci, Vanoka, Sharkstar are waiting here. Sitting or standing, with different expressions, ranging from excitement before the war to indifference. For pirates, the solution to grievances is simple. Make an appointment directly, real person PK. Whoever has the bigger fist makes sense. And this fight, no matter, Hunter's Guild, or Whitebeard pirates, no one said anything. This is New World. The location, situation, and environment are completely different from when they were fighting against Kaido. What about the Whitebeard pirates? If Kaie Bali, for Charlotte Linlin, for Kaido, Leno will do the same. After hearing the news, the Whitebeard pirates have repeatedly considered going to Wano Kuni to settle accounts with Kaido. Leno's goal is to capture Kaie Bali and establish the New World branch. Gu la la la, Leno, you little brat, you really did a good job. Captain of Division 5, open black lens bracket foil close black lens bracket vista, with a bone cross skull and signature crescent beard, the Whitebeard pirates flag flies. They don't want an all-out war either, it was just a one-on-one match with Kaido. The captain of the first team and the ship's doctor, the Phoenix Margot. Seeing Leno and the others, Whitebeard brought the crew down and stood opposite the beach. Captain of the 13th Division, Atmos the Buffalo. Captain of the 16th Division, Yizang, Captain of the 8th Division, the Murloc Namule. Finally gave up in order to avoid a lot of sacrifices. Not an all-out war with the Whitebeard pirates. Captain of the 10th Division, Gunner Cooley Al. Kaido killed Kazuki Oden, a former member of the Whitebeard pirates. Chapter 113 Whitebeard's Shock, Paramecia Shock Fruit Power. New World. Desert Island. Two ships arrive. The flags of the Hunters Guild and the Whitebeard pirates were flying respectively. Hoo-hoo. The wind on the island blows past, rolling up the clothes. The two parties looked at each other. The atmosphere instantly became chilling. Eyes intertwined. Even Hancock, who usually looks out of tune, has serious brows. What they have to face is one of the 4 emperors who rule the New World, the largest Whitebeard pirate group in the region. The pressure is undeniable. Except for Edward Newgate, the strongest man in the world, the other captains are not small roles. Anyone who underestimated them would definitely die. Leno, why did you kill Bagley? Marco took the lead and asked Leno directly. In fact, losing territory is nothing. What made the Whitebeard pirates angry was the death of Bagley, who was once part of the team. Leno calmly said, Margao, people are already dead, so what's the point of asking why? In the chaos of the New World, killing and being killed are as common as eating and drinking. Everyone, on this road, should have such a consciousness, right? He glanced over and finally landed on Whitebeard and said, as 4 emperors, don't you have no awareness of this? Or, you, who are used to being respected by others, have forgotten the taste of burning blood and fire? Leno's words were not heavy, but they left Margao and the others speechless. Is Bagley a good guy? Of course not. He seized Kaie Bali and killed all the aborigines on the island before he established the pirate town. He likes to rob. That's how pirates survive, to the people of the Whitebeard pirates. As long as he doesn't kill his companions, doesn't meddle with slaves, or trade in contraband, it's fine, he's still their companion. The rules of the 4 seas do not apply to the New World. The enemy and our hero are the normal state of chaos. So, Leno took Kaie Bali and killed Bagley no problem. As long as he can withstand the wrath of the Whitebeard pirates. Just like Kaido killed Kazuki Oden, the former captain of the 2nd Squad, didn't it just end there? Whitebeard has more, living family members to think about. Leno's rebuttal made the atmosphere even more stagnant, and the wind seemed to stop flowing, falling into silence. Gu la la la, you bastard, you killed my son, and it is my father's duty to avenge my son. Then, let's solve this matter according to the way of pirates. Whitebeard laughed, his eyes widened, and his fighting spirit rose from his body, his cape flying. Leno moved his shoulders and said with a smile, it's just what I want, I haven't done it for a long time, my bones are almost rusting. Leno glanced around, pointing to a flatter part of the island. How about going there? I don't want to fix a boat. It is good. Whitebeard raised his hand, pulled off the cloak on his body, and fell to the ground, revealing a strong and sturdy body. Suddenly, as soon as he jumped up, stepping on the air, glass-like vibration lines spread under his feet, and he stepped out hundreds of meters in one step. Ka. Where he landed, the air shattered and the person was gone. This move is similar to shaving in Marine 6 styles. The explosion speed is several times faster. The skills of Marine 6 styles are really nothing to a powerhouse like Whitebeard. What's more, Whitebeard often fights against Garp and Sengoku, and they are familiar with each other's moves. It is not surprising that he uses them. When Whitebeard fell on the flat part of the island, made of volcanic rock, hardened by the wind and the sun. The end of his Kong Yunki fell to the ground, making a crisp sound. Call. The wind blew up, and Leno came to the opposite side of Whitebeard as if he was riding the wind, relaxed and elegant. Master Leno is so handsome, the nympho Hancock's beautiful eyes shine. Luwell looked at her with disdain. Leno landed 100 meters away, and Whitebeard looked at each other. Whitebeard is 666 cm tall, not Titans, but it has a muscular body far beyond ordinary people. His most distinctive feature is the crescent-shaped upward curving white beard on his face. As a cadre of the Rock's pirates, he once competed with Roger and Golden Lion. Fight captures against marine legends like Garp, Sengoku, and more. The name, Whitebeard, resounds all over the world. Even the songs sung by children all over the world describe him as scarier than a monster. Although he is called a living legend, he himself does not miss the title of the strongest at all. The strongest man in the world, it's just that your body doesn't sound too good. Listen to Leno's observation Haki. He could hear a creaking sound similar to that of a dilapidated ship plank. Although it was still saleable, it was decayed and would collapse at any time. Gu la la la, the strongest person in the world is a human being with only one heart, and one day he will have to face death. Whitebeard didn't hide his aging. No matter his courage or strength, he still didn't decay. I won't show mercy just because your body is weak. If you can't stop it, I don't mind taking your head off. Leno drew his knife slowly, Dragon Sparrow, out of its sheath. Its blade, including the blade, is dark golden, with purple patterns distributed on both sides. One side is twisted into a dragon shape. On one side is a divine bird with a long tail. A black knife? Whitebeard stared, and felt a power similar to Mihawk's black knife from this knife. Black knife is the symbol of a great swordsman. But not famous swords, all black swords. In fact, any knife can become open black lens bracket black sword close black lens bracket, but the difficulty is extremely high. It needs the Haki of the owner of the knife to be continuously fused with the knife, hammered, and entangled to be tempered. It is like tempering and quenching the knife again, and finally changing its material, characteristics, and fit with its owner. Seeing this open black lens bracket black knife close black lens bracket, Whitebeard knew that Leno hadn't forgotten to practice for more than a year. The battle between him and Kaido must have gained a lot, so he chose to use time to digest it, so as to grow in an all-round way. Whitebeard said, "So, even if you don't use that state, do you already have that kind of power?" He was talking about Leno defeating Kaido in Full Moon Demon King form, which shocked everyone present at the time. The 100% increase in combat power is given to Leno, who can tie with Kaido, directly turning the situation into a bloodbath. But that kind of state is extremely restrictive, requires a full moon, and has sequelae, so it cannot be used as a routine method. When you meet an opponent, you can't say, "Wait, let's fight again after the full moon, shall we?" Enemies are not fools. Knowing this situation, you will inevitably avoid the full moon. Leno exhaled slightly. He looked at his current system panel. Open black lens bracket hostname. Leno close black lens bracket open black lens bracket real age, 20 years old close black lens bracket. Battle talent. Armament Haki, SSS level. Overlord body, SSS level. Observation Haki, SSS level. Gluttonous Demon King, SS level. Yufeng, SS level. Freezing, SS level. Swordmaster, SS level. Level. Conqueror's Haki, level SS. Marine 6 styles, level S. Samahata, level S. Murloc Karate, level S. Auxiliary talents. Music sense, SSS level. Swinging strong luck, SS level. Pianist, SS level. Infection, SS level. Craftsman soul, S level. Translation, S level. Underwater breathing, S level. Gambling, A level. Shipwright, A level. Strength evaluation. The strongest hunter in the world, Admiral's combat power, after burning blood and fire, has the courage to surpass the aptitude of the king, the young strong. Now is your time, cast the throne. Leno held the knife in both hands, narrowed his eyes slightly and said, "Isn't it going to be worse?" In last year's hunter assessment, Leno got a lot of talents, but they were not strong enough, and most of them were given up by him. In addition, through your own exercise or fusion and improvement, some of his talent has grown. Moreover, Leno tapped its potential, such as armed color, knowledge color, etc., and has also been enhanced and developed new moves. His current normal strength is undoubtedly stronger, and he has definitely reached the peak of the Admiral level. Meet Kaido at that time again. It can be defeated without using Full Moon Demon King form. But it still can't reach the status of Gluttony Demon King, talent, 100% increase. If normal can reach that level, Leno doesn't care too much about Uranus, Pluton, Poseidon. In the breeze, Whitebeard and Leno confronted each other. The atmosphere was oppressive and silent. In the distance, Margot and Hancock looked nervously. Suddenly, Whitebeard pulled out open black lens bracket Kong Yunki close black lens bracket, and the stagnant momentum moved accordingly. Click. He stomped and cracked the solid rock, leapt high in the air, and moved his hands, Kong Yun. Laugh. The light of the knife flashed white, and then it slashed towards Leno very quickly. Ka. Under the blade, entangled with the Conqueror's Haki, there is a shocking force, and the space shatters like glass. Paramecia shock fruit. It is so powerful that it can collapse an island and is believed to be able to destroy the world. Leno dragged the knife with both hands, took a step forward, open black lens bracket Dragon Sparrow close black lens bracket wrapped around the Golden Conqueror's Haki, and raised it upwards. Boom. Like a comet hitting the moon, two powerful forces, separated by a distance, began to collide with each other's Haki. Instantly, just like the sky and the earth, contacting each other, colliding together, the bright blazing light burst out. Zzz. A series of electric arcs spread outward from the point of collision, forming an invisible shockwave that radiated to the island. Call. There is wind blowing. Be careful, Malcolm reminded. The next moment, an invisible mountain suddenly fell down, suppressing people's heart and spirit. The ordinary crew members on both sides couldn't even withstand the first wave of shock. A group of figures turned their eyes white, and then fell to the ground powerlessly, losing consciousness directly. Leno-sama's figure, Leno-sama's Haki, everything about Leno-sama, it's so exciting for Aishi. Hancock's beautiful eyes stared, and in the blue pupils, there was only Leno's figure, with pink hearts popping out one by one. She thought of the picture of herself putting on a wedding dress and then marrying Leno, her pretty face suddenly flushed. And then, have a baby from day one. I am a concubine, so happy. Hancock, who is caught in fantasy, is bubbling beautiful. Lu Chi, Fan Oka and the others were full of shock. Ask for flowers, is this the powerhouse of the new world? Horrible. Haki's confrontation alone is already depressing, making people breathless, let alone being an enemy of him? Click, click, click. In the middle of the Conqueror's confrontation, waves of shocks were released madly outward, forming black sparks like thunderbolts. Lightning, thunder and flashes, the chilling force seemed to tear apart the space, forming a pitch-black absolute domain. No matter Whitebeard or Leno, their eyes widened at this time, trying to overwhelm each other's courage with all their strength. As the weapons gradually approached, the will, Haki, and strength of the two surged crazily in front of them like waves. Boom. These forces, like two colliding waves, squeeze and beat each other, stirring up bigger waves. Boom. The storm that destroyed everything rushed to the sky, like a tornado, stirring up the thick clouds. Rumble. Thunder and lightning. The sky between the two parted to the sides. Then a huge Uzumaki was formed in the middle sky, and the cloudy clouds slowly rotated, releasing streaks of thunder. Terrifying airflow spread outward from the place where the two collided, blowing away the sand and rocks and boiling the sea waves. Hush. The waves beat each other. Click. Finally, the knife between the two touched together. Laugh. The rock under his feet split, as if being torn apart by a terrifying force, and even the ship plank along this line also cracked. Hiss. Seeing this scene, Marco couldn't help but take a deep breath. The Conqueror's Haki collision between these two people is so powerful? Even himself, Tinnitus continued. The others were pale and terrified. The wind curls and the hair dances. Zero Leno squinted slightly. When, crisp gold and iron clash. Another force surged out of his body, and the golden light in his eyes diffused like lightning. Boom. Leno pushed hard suddenly, and the rock under his feet dented, cracked, and shattered instantly, and shot out in all directions. On his knife, the entangled Haki pressed down on Whitebeard, and slammed his pressed body into the air. With this knife, there was a detonation sound. Whitebeard dashes forward, backs up at an even faster pace. A slash wave flew up into the sky and disappeared into the clouds. Rumble. The thunder light exploded, and the knife light of the purple gold arrogance tore apart the swirling clouds, creating a huge gully of 10,000 meters. Oh, father, this, because it's scary. Such a slash is even sharper than Mihawk. Margaret and the others exclaimed. This brat. Whitebeard stepped back 100 meters and stood firm. He glanced at the split clouds, the kind of slash that was so sharp that Kaido, who likes to fight head-on, would be afraid of it. The Conquerors and armed colors are intertwined and fused with each other, and each other is enhanced, which is so fierce. After the battle between Leno and Kaido, Whitebeard is also thinking about how Leno managed to make Kaido afraid, and now he faces it directly and suddenly realizes it. The truth is simple, it's just that no one realizes. For example, Haki, everyone's potential, how can those who don't know it develop it? Haki fusion, too. It is similar to armed color and Conqueror's entanglement. Haki is entwined to different weapons for amplification, or emission, etc. Both belong to the use of Haki. The so-called fusion means that two kinds of Haki are intertwined and mutually amplified to obtain two kinds of Haki characteristics. But the person who can practice these two kinds of Haki to this level is already at the top of the world. They are limited in cognition, so they didn't try it or tried it, and gave up after feeling that the effect was not good. Only Leno realized the power of fusion when he awakened Haki, developed it and became his power zone. As for the effect, it is naturally powerful. If Whitebeard hadn't dodged in time just now, his chest would have been torn apart by the raised blade. This kind of skill, as long as they understand what is going on, it is not difficult for them to master it. Gu la la la, it's unbelievable, Whitebeard laughed. Space cracked. In terms of physique and strength alone, Whitebeard is obviously inferior to Kaido. But his fruit is mighty. Shockwave. No wonder Kaido obviously broke his left leg, but it gives people a feeling that he has become more fierce. Click. He must also have discovered this technique in the duel with Leno and conducted targeted training. Whitebeard admired Leno and said, it must be interesting if you and Roger are in the same era. This makes every blow of Whitebeard contain the power of concussion and explosion. A circular shockwave appeared in Whitebeard's hand, rushing towards Leno. Leno raised the knife, slashed at Whitebeard with a slash wave, and said, if we were in the same era, he would have nothing to do with him. Leno's footsteps stepped out in midair and disappeared before Whitebeard's eyes in an instant. Gu la la la, that's crazy enough. Where the shockwave fell, the 100-meter rocky ground shattered. He can control the power to pass through the sword, skin, and air, causing the body to vibrate, and causing damage from the inside. Leno jumped up. Roger? Whitebeard shattered the slash wave with one blow, and then grabbed the air with one hand. Chapter 114. The Four Emperors group collapsed. Fierce battle. Whitebeard will fight to the death. Beehive Island. An island that has been a pirate paradise since the Rocks era, where many great pirates were born. Strangeness. Shanks, Beckman and others, the crew of the Red Hair Pirates, set foot on the island without encountering any obstacles. What's going on? Beckman was stunned. Where are people? Where are the pirates on Hive Island? Is there some conspiracy? The people from Red Hair Pirates were also dumbfounded. They were already ready for a big battle. Who would have thought that they would not meet even a single enemy? It seems that the Hive Island has become an empty island, without any people. Shanks was puzzled and alert, and walked in with the crew, and soon smelled a smell of blood. Hey, someone's dead here, it's the pirates on Beehive Island. More than one. And also, Shanks looked around, and there were many corpses lying near the buildings on the island. The blood stained the dirt floor. From the circumstances of their death, it seems to be cannibalism. Beckman was shocked. Are they fighting among themselves? Shanks frowned, not surprised. This Four Emperors group completely inherited the style of that group. But John, as the captain, has no power to suppress everything, but only binds him with treasures, strategies, and interests. Shanks and the others went deep all the way, saw a wounded man who was still breathing, and learned what had happened. Turned out to be. Captain John planned to lure Shanks and his gang to the island to kill them. He even persuaded Kaido and Big Mom to help with a certain condition. Unexpectedly, Kaido and Big Mom regretted taking things because Leno was stationed in Kale Bali. Although Captain John felt that these two people probably didn't intend to help at first, but just used his things. But there is a reason to convince myself that it is better than being pissed off. Lost hope of support. Captain John realized something was wrong and wanted to take away the treasure and leave, but bumped into the king's face, 481, and Silver Axe, who came to discuss the matter. Usually, these two people don't respect Captain John very much, and Shanks made a fuss again, and they feel angry. Seeing that John was about to escape again, he immediately became furious. We killed the enemy on the front line, but the boss wants to donate money and flee? What else is this? Ever since, Shanks hasn't come in yet. The pirates on Beehive Island started fighting among themselves. In the end, the old Captain John lost to Ochaku and Silver Axe, and was killed by the two together. Shanks and the others came to the ruins of the battle and found Captain John, who was stabbed to death and fell in a pool of blood. He is about 70 years old, with white hair shawls, and a coat with epaulets, similar to Roger's. The chest wound was fatal and appeared to have been pierced by a sword. Blood clots. The Red Hair Pirates were overwhelmed. It was agreed to overthrow the Four Emperors regiment and replace it. Why haven't they fought yet? The opponents fight among themselves first, and they themselves collapsed? What now? Usopp scratched his head. Beckman was also dumbfounded. This is not in the plan. Shanks had a complicated expression, his spirits faded, and he had no joy in defeating the Four Emperors. He shook his head and said, bury him. How can Captain John say that a guy who was once famous for a while has ended up like this, which is really embarrassing? After burying Captain John, Beckman said, hey, Shanks, are we going to stay on Hive Island? Shanks said, stay on an island and build influence? He looks out to sea. In that case, what is the difference from the current Four Emperors? Also, that runs counter to our dream of becoming the freest people on the sea. But, come and vote. Red Hair Pirates, it's all of us. Shanks looked at everyone. The Red Hair Pirates who came to the Hive Island sailed out of the port and headed for the sea, leaving no one behind. A deserted island in the New World. Leno versus Whitebeard. A war that no one knows has broken out. Empty shock. Seeing Leno disappear, Whitebeard was not in a hurry. He stood up, calmly, clenched his fists tightly and smashed into the air. He has seen the battle between Leno and Kaido, knows Leno's tricks, and simulated how to fight in his spare time. Boom. With both fists, the power of shock fruit shot out from his body. A muffled sound like a drum beating. Caw caw caw. The air and space around him quickly shattered like glass, and shock lines spread across the sky. Boom boom boom. The power of the shock wave shakes the heavens and the earth. The whole sky seemed to collapse. Landslides and ground cracks, and the sea is raging. Shock. The ubiquitous vibration swept across the sky, the earth, and the sea, horrifying Llewellyn and Hancock who were watching the battle. The island is also shaking, because of the tsunami set off by the sea. There is no doubt that Whitebeard has developed the potential of shock fruit to ultimate and is in a state of awakening. All the people who were still awake while watching, Their faces turned pale with surprise, all retreated, their minds were shaken. Huh, it's really powerful. Lu Chi gritted his teeth and exhaled. He was almost stunned by the Conqueror's impact of the two just now. Yeah, not only that kind of Haki, but also the power in front of you. The monsters in New World are too scary. Sharkstar smiled wryly, rubbing his forehead. He almost fainted, because he bit his tongue. It was painful and stimulating to persist. It's because you are too weak. This is still a marginal, frontal impact. You have definitely fainted. Hancock directly criticizes, when outsiders, her words are still as proud and strong as ever. Even if she didn't deal with Hancock, Luwell had to admit that what she said was true. The strength they were proud of in East Blue came to New World. It is really only a medium to weak level. There are too few strong players in East Blue. Face the shockwave. Leno's figure emerged. Space is vibrating, and his high-speed movement in this vibration is like being on a muddy dirt road. No matter how fast he was, he couldn't get close to Whitebeard, who was at the center of the shock, all of which were thrown away by the ubiquitous poisonous waves. Leno sighed in admiration, and said, with the power of both fists, shaking the island and the world, you are worthy of Whitebeard. He resisted Whitebeard's attack with ease. Why is he all right? Vista was surprised. You must know that they were about 3 miles away from the battlefield, and they were still trembling from the shock, as if they were about to be shattered. The volcano in the distance erupted, surging magma, and the sea was turbulent. It can be seen how terrifying energy is contained in the shock center, causing the ground to tear, collapse, and lift. Leno's body, in it, is no different. Is this the monster that defeated Kaido? Is it the armed color? His armed color is at the same level as Garp. Too strong. It's not only the armed color, but Dad's shock wave can penetrate the armed color and target the flesh and blood inside. His physique is equally strong, Marco analysis. HMPH, of course, Mr. Leno is the strongest man in the world, Hancock said proudly. Marco glanced at her sideways, but didn't dare to look directly, because several crew members had already been petrified by her ability. After the Hancock fruit is awakened, the appearance is more beautiful, the temperament is unparalleled, and the charm is full, which is simply irresistible. Leno here. Only he, Luwell, and Kuina are immune to Hancock's charm, and others will not look directly at her, lest they make a fool of themselves. Aren't you Boa Hancock from one of the 7 warlords of the sea? How did you get involved with the Hunter Guild? Hancock didn't bother to talk to these dirty people and didn't talk to them. She is watching. Leno is handsome and compelling, every move, every word and deed is so masculine. Although Leno dispelled her fear of the past, it seemed that she was more infatuated with Leno than before. Luwell gritted her teeth, feeling a sense of crisis. But when there is pressure, there is motivation. Boom boom boom. After 2 trials and knowing the general strength of each other, the battle between Leno and Whitebeard officially started. Conqueror's entangled confrontation. Leno can gain the upper hand, but Whitebeard's attack, wrapped in shockwaves, is amazingly powerful. With one blow, Rizuo Mountain collapsed. Leno hard shockwave. Around him, visible to the naked eye, the air cracked, forming large cracks like spider webs. The rock crumbled beneath his feet, the long-lost battle. Leno's eyes are bright, and in this shockwave, he moves his shoulders, and the invisible armament Haki resists the shock. Ka. The collision of those shockwaves and armed colors is like waves hitting the shore, making a deafening rumble. This kind of sound makes one's teeth sour. Except for armament Haki, the skin on Leno's body trembled slightly, forming the thickest defense layer. SS level, Gluttony Demon King, brings strong physique, strength, speed, vitality, self-healing power, etc. SSS level, superior body, talent, releases a pale golden light, making his skin and flesh extremely tough. Immune to 50% of attacks. Combining the two into one, his body is no less powerful than Kaido, and he is completely capable of confronting him head-on. Use other powers to stabilize Kaido. Therefore, Whitebeard's damage to Leno is lower than imagined. The super defense allows him to maximize the attacks of Haki and Kendo, with infinite power. It's just that Leno has been around for a year and a half, and he hasn't fought against the 4 emperors at full strength, so his body will inevitably be a little sluggish. After restarting a machine that has not been used for a long time, it must also be warmed up. So Leno wants to use the hands of Edward Newgate to find out how he feels and adjust his physical condition. Whitebeard, is your strength just like this? Leno hooks Whitebeard. You have no strength in your fists, and you still say you are 4 emperors? Where did Whitebeard have been insulted before? He also realized that Leno's physique might not be inferior to Kaido's. Hit the guy, use the power to hit Kaido. There are generally 2 ways to deal with defensive stamina monsters like Kaido. One is a sword as sharp as Leno's, another hammer with a penetrating, impacting effect. For example, when Odin and Luffy beat Kaido, each used a method. Whitebeard and Kaido have played against each other, of course they have their own experience. He directly abandoned Kong Yunki, his right fist condensed the power of Shock Fruit, forming a huge halo of light. Super Shock Fist. Whitebeard's muscles agitated, his eyes widened, and his fist not only gathered shockwaves, but also entangled Conquerors. Boom. The fist moved with him, and with Whitebeard's punch, the ground shook, and the air made a tearing sound wherever it passed. Laugh. The airflow is flowing, and Whitebeard's body is red and warm, which shows how terrifying power is contained in this punch. Boom. The fist was like a broken bamboo, like a falling meteor, falling hard, and then set off a violent shockwave. Leno raised his hand and punched Whitebeard. Conqueror's collision. Once again, it swept across the sky and the earth, bursting out with light like thunder and sparks. Everything that lives on the islands and seas, all under this power, awe and surrender. The two of them did not make a detour, but went head-on and collided with the strongest force, raging with overwhelming momentum. Fist to bang. Boom. Within sight. The oscillating light burst out and scattered into a mask. The collision between the two sides shook the world and the ground exploded. A huge crack expanded wildly from where the two stood, spreading across the entire island. Boom. The volcano that erupted with magma actually split into two halves, and quickly separated in different directions. Crash. Under this kind of duel, the island couldn't bear the strength of both sides, and it was torn apart. The sky tilted and the earth collapsed. Marco, Luel and the others had to go back to their respective boats, against the wind and waves, away from the island. The entire island collapsed almost flat. Countless seawater surged into shock, and the tsunami rushed. Monster, it's totally two monsters fighting. Van Oka was terrified. This is just a part of their power, there are more, useless? Beasta wiped his sweat. No, this kind of duel, ordinary attack, will not work at all, it's just a waste of energy, Haki. Marco looked solemnly, he still remembered the form of Leno raging Kaido, with Fur Tribe. Fortunately, it is daytime, and there is no moon tonight. But that guy, until now, he hasn't used the sword much, he just fights with his body like Kaido. Marco is worried that Leno's kendo, the kind of slashing that is so sharp that even Kaido fears, is the hidden danger. That hit Kaido hard. In addition, Leno also mastered elemental attacks. Coupled with Dad's body, his physical strength is not as good as before. But Leno is young, and his physical strength and energy are his advantages. Dragging on, it's not good for Dad. The shattered islands were filled with chills, and the seawater, islands, and tsunamis began to freeze with the chills. Frozen. The talent is released, and the broken islands, and the sea area with a radius of 10 miles, are all frozen. Even Marco and their ships were frozen in the ice. Sunken ground. Leno was lying on the bottom of a pit 10 meters deep and 100 meters wide. Whitebeard stood on the raised ice, staring at Leno, panting slightly. The breeze supported Leno, and he stood up straight. He wiped a trace of bloodline from the corner of his mouth. The shock wave just now dispersed the armed forces, penetrated the defense, squeezed the lungs, and injured him a little. This way, it's interesting. Leno's shirt shattered in the punch, revealing a strong, perfect body without any scars. The SSS level, beauty, talent can keep his skin in perfect condition without leaving scars. Therefore, the scars left by his battle with Kaido disappeared together. Hancock's back, with a layer of skin cut off, can still be restored so perfectly, with the effect of 5.5 talents. Leno closed his eyes, he could feel his sleeping cells revived with the squeeze of the shock. A hot feeling began to appear, and a more powerful force was waking up quickly in danger. One by one talents, from the dimness, gradually brighten, like stars in the night sky, shining one by one. They converge into light. Okay? Facing Leno's Whitebeard, he immediately noticed the power accumulated in his body, like a volcanic undercurrent. This guy, he didn't lie, he is already close to that state now, is he a little worse? Leno raised his head, breathed slowly, strength poured out of his body, lightning flashed in his eyes, and his figure disappeared on the spot. One sword-style god moonless. The light of the knife passed by, but Whitebeard hadn't reacted yet, a long and narrow bloody wound had opened on his chest. Daddy. Marco was shocked. Gu la la la, gudong. Boom boom boom. The beating drums of the heartbeat. It was this trick that made Whitebeard's body weak for a long time, leaving the root of the disease. The one in front of me was used by Whitebeard to fight against Garp, Sengoku, and Zephyr. In the distance, when Marco and the others saw this state, they all stared, worried, and panicked. Damn it. Can we end the battle? Why? It's been so many years, I haven't seen it, it has too serious damage to the heart and body. His heart was beating violently, and then blood rushed to all parts of his body, his skin heated up and slowly turned red. Could it be, Father? Whitebeard laughed and dropped his head on his chest. Marco looked at Whitebeard, who was laughing loudly. Dad. As one of the 4 emperors, Whitebeard also has some desperate moves. Why, Tutu is desperate. Whitebeard's whole body was crimson, like a demon, with a terrifying power, overwhelming, like the waves of the sea. Shock.